If I told you the things I've seen on my ways, if I told you the things I've done in my days, you wouldn't believe me anyway. So it's best I just don't say. Lived 1,000 lives, I piloted 1,000 souls, I killed and fought and died just for a single role.
But you make it look.
Why, hello!
Hi!
And welcome to Session 0 for the Glittering Night. This is our brand new campaign using Vampire 5th Edition called V5. And this is actually going to be sort of like a, not a continuation, but will be taking place in the same world and timeline as the Mote of Sin, if you were a fan of that AP. I am your storyteller, Stu, and to my left...
Hi guys, I'm Joey, and I'm going to be playing a character we're going to find out about in a little bit.
Hi, I am Pooja, and same.
Hi, I'm Stork. I played Albert in the last time we did this. This is going to be a whole different thing. I'm going to be playing a character that isn't a gangrel. I know that much.
Oh.
And then we have a Mr. Guest who's going to show up later.
Yeah, she's running a little late.
And I'm Jim, and I will be playing some form of blood-sucking creature that does bad things.
They're playing vampire, not lawyers.
It could be a lawyer. I could be playing a venture.
Could be both. Why not both?
X card.
I guess that's why not.
All right. So we're gonna run through character creation and coterie creation and domain creation. But I want to just kind of go over the player document I sent you guys out last night. If I can open it up. And my computer died. Does anyone have a copy?
Yes,
of it?
I do. It's right here. You can borrow it if you like.
For some reason, my browser window just crashed.
Here's the first page.
Ah, thank you.
It's on the back too.
Oh, it's double-sided.
Yeah,
Fancy.
it's my printer.
All right. So this game is going to start on Saturday, January 4th, both in real-world time and in game time. And it's going to take place in the same continuum as the Mote of Sin. This is several years later, what, 4 years later or 5 years later, something like that, because it's been a while. The city, what's going to take place is the sort of Los Angeles, Orange County area, which is referred to as the Glittering Night. And that is the same political entity for vampires that existed in the previous campaign. That campaign took place on an island off the coast, which was basically Catalina. This is going to take place on the mainland. The biggest change, technically in vampire or World of Darkness lore, Los Angeles and most of the West Coast is all Anarch. But I didn't want that. I wanted to run a Camarilla game. But they had a sort of progressive for vampires Camarilla, where they actually had elected their prince, and it was this grand experiment to see if they could modernize Camarilla society. Near the end of that campaign, a old world vampire named Miroslav came from what was it, Serbia? I don't remember. Wherever it was.
So.
Wherever it was, he was prince, or I don't even remember if he was prince. He came here with some trusted allies, and during a moment when the current prince was at his weakest and hungriest, they murdered him, and Miroslav declared praxis. And that was pretty much the third last session of that campaign. And then the rest of the campaign was the party running away from Miroslav. So,
like
he's
you do.
Scary. Well, yeah, he's like 4th generation or something.
I think he started out at 5th or 6th.
And he's got an army behind him, and yeah.
You don't mess with that.
No.
It's pretty
And he's
hardcore.
And he really didn't like us.
And he's this real scary Nosferatu.
Yeah. He's a full-on old school.
Yeah, and he basically in the interim time between the last campaign and this campaign, he's basically tried to recreate a very traditional Camarilla.
He's very Eastern Bloc.
Yeah. I mean, the hierarchy exists for a reason, right? At least according to the prince and those people in power. So he's basically kind of run things the way that would be run in Eastern Europe, which, of course, there's a lot of people who don't like it, but he's extremely powerful for a kindred.
Hells yeah.
And his Primogen Council, some of them are from the Glittering Night, but most of them he brought with them, and they're also old vampires. So his sort of power base is pretty well secured, at least for now. Just to, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Primogen Council, are basically is the council that is sort of, it's not the governing body because it's really a monarchy, but the Primogen Council is made up of the most senior members of every clan. So if you are a Brujah or you are a Tremere or whatever, there is one of your clan's mates, clan brethren, clanspeople on that council. They're probably much, much, much older than you. They may not even know you exist, but that is sort of your representative, at least for your clan. Couple of big things happened during Miroslav's reign. Really one, and that was the Anarch invasion of San Fernando Valley, which the vampires refer to as Pornvale. And the Baron Alexander Moorhead, he was as a Brujah Anarch. He basically organized a bunch of Anarchs to move in, kick the Camarilla out, and basically create a beachhead. Because they do rule sort of Central and Northern California.
In V5, apparently, the Anarchs are getting organized.
Yes. Well, the Sabbat are gone.
Right.
They've been wiped out by the Second Inquisition. So basically, and Miroslav tried to retake it. This was unsuccessful. So basically, it's sort of the cities that kind of border the mountain passes of the San Fernando Valley, Altadena, Pasadena, and I don't even know what that would be. Probably would North Hollywood or Glendale or Burbank. Those cities, those are kind of considered border cities within the Mote of Sin because there are incursions from hostile vampires. So I'm just letting you guys know that when you decide where you're going to build your domain. The other thing that happened, which really hasn't touched on in the Glittering Night yet, is the Second Inquisition. And the Second Inquisition utterly destroyed the Sabbat. And most vampires suspect that it was probably Camarilla Ventru that went to these various governmental
agencies.
Yeah, intelligence agencies mostly, and basically said, "Hey, there's these things called vampires, and we can tell you where they are, but you guys better get ready because these things are dangerous. You're going to need to be able to kill them, and you need to come up with ways you can kill them," which they did. And then the informants, whoever they were, everyone suspects it was Camarilla Ventru, but no one knows. They said, okay, well, look, there's this city here, there's San Diego, and basically every big Sabbat stronghold got hit by sometimes multilateral coalitions of these agencies to go in and just literally wipe them out.
And Europe too, right? Like Vienna?
Pretty much everywhere that there were Sabbat, they were gone. And of course, the problem is whenever you unleash a super weapon like that, there's always the chance it's going to turn around and bite you, which is exactly what happened. So they eventually, at some point, these people who weren't Gould, and they know what they're doing. I mean, they will like meet in open daylight, and that's the only time they'll discuss these things, because these aren't like official programs of the military or official programs of the CIA or the NSA. These are a small cadre of people working within the organization, diverting funds when they need to. So this is a secret war, but they know that how dangerous vampires are, and they study them. I don't know if any of you read the sort of the earlier parts of the V5 book. There's a lot of stuff in there, like research papers on like experiments on captured kindred, trying to figure out what they're vulnerable to and things like that. So that while there has not been a hit in this city, that you are hearing rumors that other cities are falling.
There's government-sanctioned kill squads out against
Exactly.
vampires.
Hunting vampires.
Yeah.
And they're super dangerous, and everyone knows they're super dangerous because one of the things that vampires got kind of, especially younger vampires, got rather lackadaisical about is relying on technology. Well, once the NSA is involved in hunting you down, suddenly your cell phone might be your worst enemy.
Also, just video cameras are so
everywhere,
good. And they've got all you need is a thermal checker, and you can at the airport you can find out who's a vampire and who isn't.
Yeah,
just
and then
along.
and once you know who they are, ring doorbells. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can hack to sit and just watch where they go. So now I just do want to mention because when you're making characters, I don't want anyone to be like wholly left flat-footed. There is going to be an attack in the Glittering Night by the Second Inquisition very, very soon, like the first session. Okay, just so you know.
Appreciate that.
That's not gonna. I'm not, because I don't want you to. I mean, build the character you're going to build, but I don't want to pull the rug out from under anyone thinking, oh, this is going to be about the war with the Anarchs. No, maybe not. Of course, as you guys know, when I start a game, I don't know where it's going to go. I just do a whole bunch of prep, and then they're going here. I think I have something for that. So. Now, as far as tone, Vampire 5, more than any other edition, makes the inner conflict between the vampire's remaining humanity and their beast a central theme. And the game mechanics are so intertwined with this conflict, it's almost impossible to ignore. The hunger mechanic is always there. Every die roll you make, unless you're at hunger 0, could cause you to frenzy. And to have something horrible happen. Maybe not horrible to your character, but it might be horrible to your character later when the prince finds out about this massive breach of the masquerade or whatever. But the only way you can get to hunger 0 is to murder someone. That's the only way. So when you wake up in the morning, you will be at least at hunger 1. So you have 1 hunger die in your dice pool for every dice roll you guys make. And whenever even if there's 1, there's always a chance that horrible thing is going to happen. So, and the frenzy rules, the humanity rules, there's a thing called stains. I don't know if any of you have read that section yet. That's when you do something that goes against your level of humanity or your moral tenets. You gain stains, and that can cause all kinds of problems. So the idea of this conflict between inner conflict within the vampire and the game mechanics, it's almost inextricable. So I want everyone to realize that is definitely a part of it, and I'd like to at least sometimes kind of lean into that. So one of the important thing that everyone has to have at least one of is a touchstone. That's a mortal that you have some kind of relationship. It could be remaining members of your family before you were embraced. If you're young enough to have surviving immediate family members, it could be an ex-spouse. It could be the Joe at the bartender at the local bar that you hang out at. But it's someone that you have a close relationship with that you would never want to bestow the curse of vampirism on them. This is someone that you use sort of as an anchor for your own humanity. And you have to have at least one. I think they suggest up to 3. So that's something that we'll need to think about. And there again, I'm going to exploit those because that's why they're there. So like when you're at 5 hunger dice, that's when your long lost nephew is going to come up and say, "Hey, Uncle Bob." Now, as far as character guidelines, we kind of need to make a decision. I don't know how far away Sam is at this point, but we need to kind of come to a consensus of whether you guys want to play neonates or Ancillae. Neonates are not children. Children are like you have been embraced like probably within the last year or so. You don't know what's going on. I mean, you
don't know shit.
Right, and you're probably still in servitude to your sire, assuming your sire didn't just abandon you or something like that, which is an option as well. Neonates have been around. They're usually 12th or 13th generation. Their blood potency can be between 1 and 3. You probably have been a vampire for about a decade or 2 or so. So you you've learned your way around at least somewhat. You may not know all of the intricacies, but you know not to, you know enough to not have your head lopped off by the prince. Ancillae are sort of like the sort of main population of vampires, and that's the vampires between the neonates and the elders. The elders are the real scary, powerful ones. That's what Miroslav and those people are. Ancillae range between older than neonates, which means 30, 40 years ago, to being up to maybe about 250 years old. 250 years old is probably a little too old for this game.
Yeah, I was going to say it's hard to come up with a touchstone when you're 250.
Exactly, unless your touchstone is someone that you've met.
Yeah,
and not, as opposed to a blood relative. But a younger Ancillae can certainly have living relatives. I mean, you may have had a grandchild born who is now living in a retirement home. And they don't even know who you are, probably, because you've had to change your identity because you don't age. So, but whichever one you guys want to lean towards, I would like everyone to kind of be in the same ballpark power-wise. The book suggests that. Ancillae, did I write that in there? I don't know if I did. Ancillae are, if I recall, they are like 10th and 11th generation, I think
that's
generally.
right.
Yeah.
And their blood potency probably goes up to 4 or 5, something like that. I'll look it up to be sure. But that's kind of the first decision as a group we need to make.
I like the middle class.
I like Ancillae.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I'd like to, I have a background knowledge of the game. I'd like to not have to fight against that.
Okay, all right.
And I like I just feel like it's kind of cool to be able to play with an older generation.
Right. Okay.
Kind of, not like vampire generation, but people who lived in a time before
Right.
modern times, which, not that 2000 till now is not a big change, but it's definitely much less of a change than, say, 1940 to now.
Oh, sure, yeah. Or 1914.
I can read to you what it says here about Ancillae.
Okay, go ahead.
Embraced between the American Revolution and World War II, under 250 years old, Ancillae come from an age during the modern era, or at least when an era of divine right of princes has become an eccentric joke instead of the foundation of society. It was the contrast between the relative modernity and the medieval mindset of the Camarilla that led to the rise of the Anarch movement. Even hardline Camarilla Ancillae believe the system should loosen up, which other Kindred interpret to mean give us more power. Ancillae characters can be as low as 10th or 11th generation.
Okay, does it mention blood potency after that? No.
But
Okay.
there's a chart I know between generations
Yeah, there is.
that shows you that.
Okay. So, Ancillae?
Yeah,
Okay.
Ancillae.
All right.
So that basically means 1950s dads
Or earlier.
or earlier.
Yeah. All right. Now, I printed out a few copies of the character creation,
Yes.
but I didn't print out enough of them. I thought I printed out enough for everyone, but I don't. I only found 3. There's kind of a chart, which I will find right now, that kind of runs through Caragen.
It is. God, what did I do before PDFs?
135. There it is, page 136, 137, for those of you who are actually using a book or a PDF.
That is a nice thing about this, is there's so much going on here for vampire character creation.
Oh, yeah.
And right at the top, they're like, here's a 2-page summary. And then a little bit later, there's a full-on Vampire the Masquerade summary. Here are all the major things and a half-sentence description of what they are, so you don't have to keep flipping back and forth between pages.
So lovely.
And it's everyone should do this.
Yeah. Especially in a setting like this, it's really complicated.
Yeah.
The setting is more complicated than the rules set.
Yes. Which honestly, was one of the things I loved about it back in the day when I was reading this book and wishing I had a group to play with.
Right.
And not knowing how to find anyone.
Right. And the other thing, after you guys make characters, we're going to do the coterie creation as well. Because you guys are going to be a coterie, and that means you're going to have a domain.
We don't all get to meet in a tavern and kill each
Nope.
other?
Nope. Nope. And the domain is basically lended to you or bequeathed to you by the prince, you still have to answer to the prince. It's a fiefdom. But it's yours. I mean, whatever that area, wherever that place is, it might be a couple city blocks, it could be LAX, it could be
No, thank you.
the Glendale Galleria. I mean, it could be all kinds of places.
All right.
The Americana. Yeah.
Hello.
Hey.
And you're there. She is. I was just. Did you read? You read my tome on the game, the 5-page thing? Okay, right. I'll remind you of it. We're going to be building Ancillae characters, which are the sort of like the middle class of vampire society. They're not neonates, but they're not elders. Sort of like the middle people.
Perfect.
In-betweeners.
You're on 5. Go ahead. So the core concept, this is to start. What is your character's name in life? What was your character's name in life? What did they do? When and where were they embraced? What is their name now? Where are they now? Write your character's name on the relationship map. Now, I guess does everyone have their own relationship map?
I think it's one big relationship.
Is it one big one?
map.
Maybe?
Yeah.
I don't
One
know.
big one.
I could have skimmed over that because I assumed that we would figure that out today.
Yeah, we will. We're not there yet. But.
No, because it talks about taking the thing when you're done and pinning it up on the wall, like your own version of The Wire, with all the post-it notes and lines going everywhere.
Got it. So yeah, they want you to come up with a name first before you do anything.
Yeah,
That's
well, I'm
hardcore.
going to do that later because I'm
Once
still
again,
trying to figure out what clan I want to do, depending on what everybody else picks.
I have
All right.
started coming up with character names. Like I've gone through that hour and a half long process before I show up, because otherwise,
It'll never happen.
no. And I'm full of regrets later.
Right. So if we don't want to come up with names yet, which we probably should have names by the end of the session,
Okay, we
or
will.
at least, definitely before session 1, in January 5th,
Yeah.
which is slightly less than a month away.
Oh, do you mind getting me one, please?
Clan and sire. I need to start taking notes.
Yeah, okay, so clans. So I guess since we're all going to be a coterie, we should all talk about our clans together.
Let's just talk about what ideas we have. And
Yeah.
Right.
I was thinking of doing a corridor.
Shocked.
I know.
Shocked.
Yes.
I can't believe that.
I will do it. I will carry the rose torch.
Ah, yeah. I was going to do Tremere.
Okay.
You're going to do the magic system. Okay.
Did I mention this is the first RPG game that I ever wanted to play ever in my life?
Get your mage life.
I'm going to speak for Stu and say that he's terrible at learning the magic system rules, so that's going to be all on you.
Well, I
Because
mean,
you did it with L5R. You
I've
even
read-
said that.
I've already read through them. I remember nothing. This is pretty typical.
It's cool. As we all know, like, my reading retention is high.
Yes. My brain is full up. There's no space for anything else.
Well, I
All
came up
that
with a
sucks.
Toreador concept as well, but I came up with like 2 other ones as well, so I'm not married to that. I thought I'd see what else everybody else came up with.
I mean,
and see
is
what
this
I
a
could do.
situation where we have to
No.
just have, like...
No, it isn't.
No.
But if we all end up with 5 Toreadors,
But that might work out too.
it could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Right?
They'll just all be fighting for who's prettiest.
Right.
Exactly.
It wouldn't be a fight.
I know I would win. Thank you. I'm not going to be playing a Toreador though, because I Toreadored the most I could ever Toreador in our last game.
Right?
Yeah.
So this time I'm going to be a Malkavian.
Excellent.
Yes.
Everybody wanted you to
Weird.
do that.
Yes, perfect. I thought about making one, but then I was
Fan
like,
service.
except it would be better if.
Yeah, I have a Malkavian concept as well.
And I'm thinking Nosferatu.
Nice.
Ooh, yay. I love it.
So my
Now, if we were all Malkavians.
My Malkavian concept is that
God, that'd be
they're schizophrenic, and every time they either get hungry or they go into a blood rage, their character switches. So you roll, like I would roll, or you would roll randomly on dice, and then you become a new person.
Oh, so they have dissociative personality
Right.
disorder?
Right.
That's basically what I did for the our Mote of Sin one-shot. Except
yeah.
it was she had to roll to resist becoming the last person she ate.
Oh, that's cool.
I actually made one where I put dots in different colors with basically the same number of them, but each color was representative of a different personality that he had.
Oh, that's
Nice.
I love that though.
Because that way the new personality would come to the fore, right?
Yeah.
And then you'd play that till the next time you frenzied or raged or got hungry enough, and then you'd roll to figure out which personality you had that time. So it might be hell on the party because they're like, who are we playing with today?
Yeah.
I want this.
My Malkavian concept is much different than that.
That's,
so
but that's only just one
decide to go with that.
of the
that's
3
fine.
concepts I have. Well, the other one I have is a toreador jazz pianist, sort of in the vein of Tom Waits.
Nice.
Oh,
Well, I was thinking about playing a toreador violinist, so that could be a
it could be in a band or dueling.
yeah.
We
I
share,
also
we
had
share
a-
the same manager.
I also had a Ventru character who was basically a celebrity agent
Cute.
idea.
Nice.
It was just locked into that
So
kind of thing.
my other concept then is sort of a Doctor Strange type doctor who, dying of cancer, blew all his wealth to find a vampire and get bit by one so he could live. Now he's destitute, living on the streets, and is a vampire.
Got what he want, but lost all his wealth.
Right.
What,
I like it.
what
Beautifully,
clan? What
beautifully
clan
done.
were you
It would be
thinking?
Bruja,
Bruja.
because that's kind of the only person he could probably find
That's my
that would
favorite
do that to them. I know.
That's
Does not
spirit
shock
animal.
me in the
Bruja.
slightest.
Spirit animal.
So
Toreador would be like, mm-mm.
Hard pass. Hard no.
and his whole arc is that he really just. I actually wrote this down because it was like he had to become a vampire to learn to become a better human. Because when he was a doctor, he was very Doctor Strange and egotistical and about money and,
Right.
and fame. And now that he's destitute and poor and a vampire, he really just wants to be the best human he can.
Right.
I would so make him a caitiff.
I almost did. I was sitting here thinking about it, but I wasn't sure about Stu's world, and I didn't want to start throwing wrenches around right off the bat.
The caitiff are clanless, right? Is it?
Yeah, they're clanless.
They're
So basically,
clanless.
it's like, all right, you got what you want, I'm out.
Well, because my first choice for creating him was either a thin blood or a caitiff or canid, which is he used his considerable resources to obtain a vial of vampire blood and then infected himself. And so who knows who his sire is, and who knows what his power set would be.
It's like artificial
like
vampire
that.
insemination.
right.
Right.
And so now he's broke, but he's a vampire, and the cancer's gone.
That's kind of fascinating.
I know.
And then he
So
has to find out who he is
Or-
and where he belongs.
Who's
Right.
the daddy?
Right?
It's like vampire Maury Spring.
But if you're okay with that, I could do that. But then I get analysis paralysis about trying to pick which disciplines I want.
Well, if you're caitiff, you don't get clan disciplines. You have to buy out clan prices. I think.
You get 3 clan disciplines to start with, and then in order to level them up, it costs times 6, not times 5.
Okay.
to level
all
them up. But
So
you get to
you
pick.
just pick and choose.
You can pick.
Yeah,
which one you
it's
want.
the way for you to pick and choose. Because I had another concept that was basically a private detective that was a caitiff.
Mm-hmm.
That part of the whole thing is him trying to figure out who his actual sire was.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why we went into that investigation thing.
Cool.
But yeah, so okay.
So Stork needs a pick.
Yeah.
Right. So you're going to be a Tory.
Tory. Yep.
You're already the Malkavian.
Yes.
So
Yes,
we don't
but you
need 2
could also
Malkavians.
be the Malkavian.
Yeah, but that's 2 crazy people.
We could all make Malkavians. Sorry, I'm so sorry. One of my rejected ideas was a Malkavian as well.
If we have a whole, even 2 Malkavians are just going to put us down. That we're all going to go separate directions and wander about, and just it'll be
Chaos.
yes, in not maybe the best way.
Not hearing anything bad about
I'm just saying. Apparently, Pooja does not love you.
It'll drive Jim
Because,
crazy too.
to tell you the truth, I think I'm kind of excited about the idea myself. But yeah, that would be absolute chaos.
Oh yeah.
4 Malkavians and a Toreador.
Oh, good.
That I would watch
That
that,
would be
sitcom.
Coming this fall.
Best Brady Bunch ever.
That would be a lot like the Call of Cthulhu game when everyone failed their sanity roll except your character.
Yeah.
Except this time I get to be crazy.
That's someone else's problem.
Hi.
Beautiful.
So what were you planning on, Jim?
The main character that I had was Malkavian. I'm sorry, not Malkavian, but now I'm changing my mind. No, Nosferatu. That basically what he is he's a film editor, and he does this in a secluded location. But he is so good at it that people just either digitally or just send him the stuff and he edits it out. But the thing is, he also has a ghoul that's sort of the face of the business. Everybody thinks his ghoul is the guy that does the work, but he just sort of does it in the background. And so he has a lot of contacts within the Hollywood underworld. But the main thing that he does is that he uses his obfuscate and his animal control to find dirty things out about the celebrities and blackmails them.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So he basically just runs this blackmail ring out of this office where he's known as one of the premier editors, film editors for horror movies and things that are like that.
Cool.
So your violin player, did you have an idea of like where they worked?
I was thinking like nightclub circuit.
Because there is a lore that's attached to the world here. Do you want to use those lore things as part of the advantages, disadvantages?
Let's figure out what clan you're going to be.
Okay. Only because if we both are part of that, because it's a nightclub ring that goes around that's part of the world, we could easily meet through that if I play the Toreador.
Follow your heart.
Follow my heart.
I will yes and whatever you like.
Yeah, I got to figure out what I want.
While you're thinking,
Okay.
just one of the sort of the key changes in the system is that the game mechanics really reinforce the conflict between a vampire's humanity and the monster within them. I don't know if you looked through the book yet or
I
not.
did look through the book a little bit, and I noticed that, which I liked and kind of built into my concept.
Okay, cool. Okay, because that's my only concern with a Malkavian.
Yeah.
I will say this, Stork. Your concept for your Bruja is very interesting. Would be interesting to play off of my concept for my touchstone. So that's also a thing that would cause a very interesting relationship between our characters.
Well, he is literally, the way I have him pictured is he's destitute, he has no haven, he has no money, he's a homeless bum.
But no, more like the reason for your turning.
Oh.
The reason for your embrace. I kind of was very similar to the situation with one of my touchstones.
You mean the Vial of Blood one, or do you mean the actually finding a vampire and having
using the vampire curse to stave off a
cancer,
Terminal disease.
terminal illness.
See, he's going to be such a simpering, sad little man. You guys are going to hate him. You're going to hate him. I can tell right off the bat. You're going to be like, man up, God damn it, you're a fucking vampire.
Vamp up.
Amp up.
So if we're Ancillae, what kind of age range are we looking at for our...
According to the book, American Revolution through World War II. But I would probably if your touchstone, you know what touchstones are?
Yes.
Okay. If your touchstones are living relatives, obviously you can't be from the Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
You would be but I'm trying
Because
to...
they could be descendants too, right?
If you have that sort of familial bond with them, you could decide, I'm going to watch over my descendants.
Stalk my descendants forever.
Right.
Queen of the Damned. Do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Matrilineal line only, please.
Okay. I guess I'll play... Oh, man. They're both so good.
Want to roll a dice?
I'm between the Toreador Tom Waits jazz pianist, and the Doctor Strange sad sack Bruja.
I'm telling about the sad sack.
Sad sack.
I'm telling you
Roll a dice.
that
roll a
Bruja.
dice.
Or roll a dice. If you're really 100% torn.
I'll go. You know what? We already have a Toreador. We don't have a Bruja. I'll be the Bruja, but maybe I'll make it a Kindred. I'm still on the fence about that, but at least one of those power sets will be in there. So all right, I'll go with the self-made vampire to cure his cancer.
And that was a Bruja, right?
Yeah, let's just go with Bruja. I've never played Bruja. It actually makes sense because I actually have this cool idea for the sire. That way it'll give you a sire as opposed to being self-made.
Cool.
But
So
then
you
we
have
don't
something
get
to
to
work
play
with.
Who's the Daddy.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Okay, so everyone has their clan. Now your sire. We need to know who theirs are, and now we need to start creating the relationship maps. Because it says in the book, write your character's name on your map. So I think everyone has their own. There might be a coterie one as well. Which, if you give me one of those big pieces of paper, I can start on the coterie one if you want.
Okay. It made it sound like there's one giant map, but yes.
There might also be a giant map. I think
Here,
we all
in
have
fact,
our
right
own.
here they have the Lonely Knights, and they have see page.
Oh, it has all the
see
characters.
page 142.
Okay, it has the characters. Okay, then does someone want to be the cartographer of your relationships? Or
Someone
would
with
you-
I nominate
handwriting?
Sam because she actually
I can do
she
that.
does she's very good with this.
Yeah, somebody that has
this is
some
their
art
example.
skills at all.
Oh, okay.
Unlike me, who's
Let's see. I need a flat surface. Sorry.
Right.
I'm
Here.
gonna move my things everywhere.
Oh, can I look at your notebook while you're doing this?
This one?
Yeah. Sorry,
the
I have
best notebook.
a new notebook.
So my friend Keisha got me that at the Christian Dior exhibit in Paris.
Fancy.
No, London, actually. That's from a different person.
Okay, so my sire, I'll come up with a name in a minute.
Wait, let me see the...
Now, do you know who your sire is?
Yes, I'm going to go with the one where I hired a vampire to infect me, as opposed to the
The Who's Your Daddy concept.
right. Yeah, because that way it gives you more ammunition. And I was thinking that my sire has left to go to Europe with the rest of the Bruja, but she, let's see here. Dr. Strange spent his fortune tracking down a vampire and paying her to embrace him to cure his cancer. His sire thinks it's a big joke to tear down the liberal elite. Right? Oh, here's this rich doctor. I'm going to take all his fucking money because she's a Bruja.
Right.
And so his whole thing is he's trying to get back into society. She takes all of his money, his housing, everything. He's left absolutely destitute, and she embraces him, and then sort of leaves him to his device. Here you go. You got what you wanted, and now she's gone, probably to Europe. He is left penniless and on his own. Now, I may have to modify that because he's been doing this for the last 60 years.
I mean, it could be a little less than that, or maybe. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he would have been around a while. The other possibility is that you were embraced by someone of a generally lower generation. So maybe you've only been a vampire for a couple decades, but you are still considered Ancillae because of the generation, because you're still the same generation.
I want to do that, and here's what I'm thinking. Because of the research he did to try to track down a vampire, and get it, he knows a lot about vampire society and knows a lot about vampires.
Okay, there you
so
go.
Even though he wasn't raised a vampire, he's already pieced a lot of that stuff together on his own research when he was desperate trying to survive his cancer.
Okay. So what was your sire's name?
I haven't come up with one yet. But I'll tell you this. I'll tell you what she is.
You want to give her a name? I have a lot of names.
Name her Abigail, man.
Okay, she's going to be... her name is Bodil, B-O-D-I-L. Jeppesen, with a J. She's a Swedish 20-year-old woman. She's an ex-prostitute that now runs a human trafficking business to supply brothels in Paris, London, and Sweden. She uses a shipping business she took from her sire, her supposed love, who she blackmailed to vanish.
Okay. And she went back to Europe, right?
As far as he knows.
Okay. All right. Joey, do you have a sire?
I do. His name
Who's
is
your sire?
Elias Pierce.
Who's your dad?
He is a New York socialite, or well, it was back in the late 1800s when I encountered him.
Okay.
And do you want the whole Embrace story right now, or do you want just the basics?
No, just the basics for now.
Okay, so yeah, that's socialite, New York socialite, met him in New York, late 1800s.
I will ask everyone who's got more detailed information on their backstories and their sires and that kind of stuff to send that to me separately, because I do want that information when I start actually kind of fleshing out these NPCs as actual NPCs.
For sure.
Pooja, do you have a sire?
I do. And his name was George Gunther.
Gunther?
Gunther?
Gunther. Okay.
British. Last I saw of him, he was still residing in London.
Okay. Oh, something else, just so I know, and I'll start with Joey, and then we'll get to everyone else's sires.
Yeah.
When was your embrace date?
Or
just vaguely.
I mean, 1880s, maybe 18. Let's go with 1886.
Okay.
I'm just gonna jot that out.
All right.
Yeah.
Pooja?
1912.
12. Storky?
Let's see here. What would be a good time that his look still... Because here's the thing, too, right? You go to sleep and you wake up looking like you did, right? So...
the new version hasn't really talked about that.
Okay. That was a problem with the whole porn stash from 1970s with Albert. That's his witness A right there. Let's just make it 1980.
Okay.
Yeah, when Greed was good. And
Right.
Yeah,
Right, exactly.
Really cool.
Okay, Samantha,
Yes.
who was your sire?
I'm trying to think of the last name for her. I'm so bad at surnames.
Okay, I have a list
Give me
of names.
a fun. It's going to be Victorian era, so Give me a 5.
Yeah, Victorian era.
I don't know. I'm still holding on to
Oh, yeah.
Lightheiser myself. As the
I was
last
thinking,
name
I was like,
ever,
how Regency
ever.
do I
I
want
already
this
used
to
that one.
I know.
I'm putting this in the wrong folder. I'm putting it in the Murmurs at the Abyss folder.
I'm doing
Oh,
this.
no.
Hold on a
Like
second.
Growing gray
Let me
life,
copy
but-
it. Because that last time I used the computer, that was running. There it is. Okay, random names. Come on.
Lightheiser was your Toreador sire, right?
Yeah. Also my great grandparents' last name. Maiden name.
That's such a great name.
Yeah. So good.
Let's see. Do you want from a certain region or
Let's just go vaguely English.
vaguely English? Okay. Hoffman, Christian, Sledge, Mock,
Ooh,
Osborne.
Sledge, yes.
Sledge. Okay.
Adelaide
Oh.
Sledge.
Yes.
Can I do mock instead of Gunther? Because
Sure.
like when I make up names off the top of my head instead of, finding a good that good stout British names.
So Gunter is now Mock,
Yes, please.
and what was your sire's name again, Samantha?
Adelaide Sledge.
It's close enough to Abigail.
It is.
I actually I had already made an NPC in here named Abigail. And what was either the year or date of your birth?
Let's see. 1888.
Okay. Jim.
Oh, my sire was named Hayward Cross. He ran a sideshow.
Nice.
He was like the owner or the...
He was the owner. He ran it. And the thing is, he also had the same system where he had a ghoul that actually was the face of it.
Oh, okay.
He was in the background. That's where I got the idea.
Got it.
And my year of embrace is 1922.
2. Excellent. Okay. All right. So we don't have names yet, but we do have our clans and sires. Now we move on to actually grabbing character sheets. There's a stack of them here.
I think we all have one.
You all have
You
one?
took
They're
one.
2
Yeah.
pages. There's a first page, which is your character sheet, and the second page is like more stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Got it.
All right, so you're going to take one attribute. Your attributes are the 9 stats or whatever near the top. One of them is going to be at 4. And of course, what I normally do for the first couple of sessions of the game, if you suddenly discovered that your character's stats do not meet what you would normally have in that clan or the disciplines you chose, you can always move things around.
Yeah, I was just gonna look at
Oh, I should also
what
mention...
the clan, what attributes
Right.
our clan abilities rely on.
let me find those. I don't know if there's actually a one-page thing of that.
Yeah, that would be.
I think it's broken down by clan. In one of the
Yes,
chapters.
it does. If you go to 152
Oh, here we go.
on the summary sheet, it says charisma, charm, magnetism, strength, and personality, and in parentheses it says social.
Okay.
So I think that'll.
Do you know, or you want to know what the?
Or do you mean disciplines?
You mean disciplines?
Yeah.
Yeah, to see
Sorry.
what disciplines require
What?
Yeah.
which stats. or use
And
which stats.
what disciplines are in your clan, too. 'Cause
I know. Yeah, I remember which discipline.
Well, that's just on the next.
I can tell. I can go through these one at a time. Bruja, if you want to note these, Stork.
okay.
Your 3 clan disciplines are celerity.
Right, hold on. Where do I write this down?
Don't write it on the character. Well, you might write them on the character sheet, but you normally you don't start with all 3 disciplines. But you may because we're making ancillary.
Right. Celerity?
Celerity, potence, and presence. No one's playing a gangrel, correct?
Nope.
Nope.
Malkavians.
I think it's Auspex, Dominate, and Obfuscate. I remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it
And that's
really?
also on
It
152
is.
on the bottom right hand side.
Oh, it is.
Because they have that summary
Oh, there they
sheet
are.
that I was
what
waxing
page?
poetic
152?
about earlier. 152.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, how do you
So
feel
they-
about overlapping disciplines?
How do you mean between player characters?
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's just Tremere and Malkavian have 2 overlapping, so we're going to share one no matter what.
Yeah.
Right.
But
they're also different discipline abilities to
yeah,
take.
exactly.
And,
So
you-
we'll
and
probably pick different T1s, or at least use them in different ways.
and your blood sorcery is kind of the major.
Well,
Yeah. And then
Oh, that's right. Aspect, celerity, and presence. Okay.
yeah. Is there anyone who doesn't have them? Animalism, obfuscate, and potence.
Yeah, I have them on the little
Okay.
sheet here.
All right. They got rid of dementation,
Oh yeah.
which is how Melcabians make people go crazy.
Kind of got rid of a lot of
No,
things.
that was fun.
yeah, it was kind of weird. I guess they kind of put it in to dominate, but like it doesn't make
That doesn't make sense.
They got
it
rid
doesn't
of a
make
lot.
nearly as much
Much?
sense.
Yeah.
Got rid of a lot of flaws.
Especially because one of the archetypes is still like build a labyrinth in their mind and trap them there.
Right. And the other thing is they really nerfed celerity.
Yeah.
It's-
Was it? I'm actually
Oh,
really
okay.
good with that.
I mean, it was a little.
It
was
was
a
so
little
big.
bit-
Oh, it was breaky. Oh, absolutely. But I mean, now it's basically mostly narrative.
Well, you get to do some
May
really
have
cool
gone to
stuff.
the other
Yes,
way
you
around.
do.
I mean, you get to you're like across from the park from somebody, and then suddenly
You're
like
there.
in their
There.
face. How creepy is that?
They do
That's
have
awesome.
blink. It's
Right.
you
Yeah.
move so fast you
Yeah.
literally teleport.
Yeah.
Okay.
But gone are the days when you can like run as fast as a car.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Or take 2 actions in a turn.
That was the thing I liked.
Yeah. Everybody
Yeah.
likes
Yeah.
it.
If I remember, it saved us once or twice. I think there was a couple of shoes involved that saved us.
No, I mean, how many K-Tif were made with celerity, fortitude, and potence? I mean,
Right.
come on. Why don't you just play werewolf?
Samantha had weaponized fashion. It was awesome.
I kept throwing my shoe at the enemy. It was
Yeah,
great.
she had staked shoes.
This is my shock face.
Just throw your shoe.
Honestly.
I also made a skull out of a purse out of an enemy's skull. Which
And you also made bulletproof clothing for people. There was
Oh,
like
yeah.
bulletproof suits and
a tailored plaid McQueen style suit lined with Kevlar.
Yes. Oh, I love
various
it.
trench coats and things. She had a whole line. It was actually astonishing.
Spent a lot of that campaign talking about clothes.
Okay.
I'm down for this.
So you take 1 attribute at 4, 3 attributes at 3, 4 attributes at 2, and 1 attribute at 1.
Whoa. So how many 3 attributes at 3?
3 at 3, 4 at 2, 1 at 1,
Okay.
and 1 at 4.
1 at 4, 3 at 3, 4 at 2.
And 1 at 1.
Oh, okay. So the thing I was looking for was like what attribute like Auspex uses.
Let me look.
That
see what
was
it
the
says
list.
real
I
quick.
was
I think
Sorry.
that's.
for example, and then the rest of them.
I think that's intelligence.
It's hard to say with a Malk. It might actually be
48.
composure, but I'm not. But you're right. That's the thing to look
Yeah.
up.
Well, and it's probably different from the last time I played this
Mm-hmm.
too.
There is a glossary in the back. Actually.
Auspex, here we go.
You kind of have to look at the powers to see.
Yeah,
what it
the
you
thing is, there's a
have.
set of powers for each one,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Right.
it jumps around a little bit.
It
That's
does.
true.
Because that's
Okay, I can look at that myself.
They're slightly less focused, but you
Let's
get
see.
to do more.
Here, I'll just kind of list them out if you want to like mark the character sheet. Wits, resolve, wits, auspec, or wits. Wits or resolve. That's also wits and resolve. Resolve. Intelligence. Resolve. Intelligence.
So the mental.
So
Intelligence.
those are mental ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's looking that way. Resolve. Yeah. Okay.
I feel good about this.
Does anyone else want to?
If you can just read through presence, because I'm pretty sure it's mostly charisma and manipulation, but I just want to be sure.
Presence. There it is. Okay. Manipulation.
and it looks like they start on 243 for anyone at home going, ooh, I want to make a character with everyone
Yeah.
else.
That's what I was looking for this section.
There it is.
Dice pool. What's
Charisma. Charisma. Big shock. Manipulation. charisma. That's it. That's all.
Perfect. Okay, that's what I thought. Just wanted to make sure.
Anyone else want to know? No?
Yeah. My question is, what attribute do you think that film editing would fall under?
Ooh. Hand me a character sheet.
Oh, here. Oh, both parts? Both parts?
No, it's just a skill question. Probably should be.
There's actually
Insight.
there's a section for that shows sort of crafty skill things that I stumbled
Yeah.
into today.
Yeah,
when I
well,
was
it's
looking
craft
at
to
it.
be, it'd be craft.
It would be,
Editing?
definitely be a craft. Yeah. But
I think
the
probably-
assigned attribute can
I
change.
would think
depending on-
intelligence, right?
I would think either
craft.
wits or intelligence, one or the other.
Yeah, I need to see what the difference is between. That's what I was looking at too.
Wits is cleverness, intuition, spur of the moment decision making, and intelligence is memory, reasoning, intellect.
I think when I was reading it was mentioned like wits is being able to act in the moment, kind of trusting your gut, versus intelligence is learned knowledge.
I would bet it would be intelligence.
Okay.
I would think.
Works for me.
Yeah, because wits is acting on low information.
Right, exactly. That yeah, they mentioned low information. Exactly.
Yeah.
That was the assumption I was making, but I just wanted to consult. All right. So that's out.
Does everyone have their, or are they still looking?
Oh, I'm
This-
kind
I
of
know
still.
that, and like I said, a couple sessions in, if you realize that you need to move things around, you can totally do it.
I'm trying to decide if I want to flop my charisma and manipulation. It's just 4 versus 3. And find out when I pick my powers.
For unknown reasons, I can't find blood sorcery.
Oh, really?
I'm sorry, it's on page.
I just saw it.
I know it's
It's like 275. It starts at 275.
Thanks.
Or no, that's wards and rituals. Sorry, it starts right before that.
And I think I'm going to go Auspex or the other one.
Yeah, blood sorcery 271.
Thank you.
That works for me. I'm going celerity and presence, but I might pick up a little bit of aspects, but with my main.
Now you guys are going to get bonus XP because you're Ancillae, so you will be able to buy more stuff.
Cool.
Than the basic.
I was just thinking, like, because my other one is Dominate, so it's a
Dominate is so
toss-up,
useful.
and Dominate's
Yeah.
so great.
I was
Yeah.
thinking getting at least 1 point in dominate. Because there's a thing under presence when you have like 1 in dominate, there's an extra power.
Oh, that's that's one of the cool things they added to this. Is there are when you get certain dots and certain powers
Oh, yeah, like-
across disciplines, there's other new things you can do.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which they added in the. I don't remember which book it was. One of the V20 books had a section where it's like, oh yeah, here's like the 6, 7, 8, 9 dot powers in these disciplines, and then here's the cross disciplines that you have if you have enough in this and enough.
They call
in
it an
this.
amalgam.
Yeah, an amalgam.
I just
Thank you,
happened to
that's the
slip
word.
right into it. There's one called unerring aim, which if you have aspects at 2, you can then like basically it's like using the force. You can
Right.
kind of everything slows down the bullet time and you're able to shoot.
Yeah, I saw that.
The one I'm thinking of, I think it with like presence 3 and dominate 1, you're able to use your awe abilities just so they can hear you. Like they don't have to see you; they just able to hear you.
Right.
Yeah, that's like at 5 or 6 or something crazy.
No,
yeah.
it's only like I think presence 3 and then dominate 1.
Oh, cool.
And then once you have your attributes, then your health is stamina plus 3.
Okay.
Okay, it's not a lot. It's fine.
You guys have
it's
already,
not terrible.
already
Mine's
got
also
your
gonna be
attributes
5.
figured out?
Nope.
I haven't even started.
And then willpower is composure plus resolve.
That's also 5.
And when everyone's done with that section of it, we'll move on to skills. I wonder if I should play a song for the audience while you guys are doing your...
Yeah.
Or we could, like, you
I'm
know,
almost
make.
done. There we go.
Okay, so
I knew what this
Auspex.
was.
Nailed it.
So Auspex requires charisma and resolve. You said
Let me look again.
No, Auspex
No, it was
intelligence and
with-
resolve.
intelligence.
And resolve.
Oh, so it was a mental.
It's
all mental.
Yeah.
And then blood magic would be.
I don't remember.
Totally.
Sorry, I'm just trying to find it in this section. And I'm not.
271. I'm just kind of looking at some of the
The dice pools.
Okay. Because I was
Um,
looking at it and I was like, I don't see where
res-
that would be.
It's under some of the powers. They'll list dice pool, and which is what you roll.
So, for example, Essence of Air at the very bottom, it says something about requires a contest between the caster's strength plus blood sorcery and the other's strength plus athletics.
Okay, so this is like resolve plus blood sorcery.
Make a resolve. blood
Resolve
sorcery.
plus blood sorcery.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seems resolve is pretty important.
Oh yeah, strength, blood sorcery versus stamina plus occult. That's interesting.
That's Ball's Caress. That sounds awfully
There's Ball's
strange.
Caress, and then there's also and Scorpion's Touch is the same.
I hope that
Said
doesn't
out
involve
loud
too much
before, like,
strength.
what that
Right? or they knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah, somebody was like,
Who let the 12-year-old in?
That's
Well, yeah.
all of us. All of us. Okay, so it's resolve, strength, and wits look like they're the big three for that one.
level 5 of Aspects. If you also have Dominate 3, you can do Possession.
Oh no!
You
Yeah.
guys.
Yes.
So excited.
Yes,
Please.
go Ghost.
It's okay, I'm not a ghost.
Your mic got super quiet for some reason.
Oh.
Is it-
Oh, I turned it off because I sneezed.
Oh, okay, great. Bless you.
Thank you.
What was health again? It's stamina.
No, it's stamina plus 3.
Yeah, I better put. I know for a fact that's going at 4.
Oh, this is going to be so fun with my one composure.
It's fine. I have 1 strength.
Me too.
Yes!
Yay. It's okay, we have other qualities.
Damn straight. Well,
Yes, damned. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dominate is what now?
If it isn't
All right, I think
manipulation
I'm
or
done.
charisma or something.
that.
Charisma, yeah.
Okay, so that makes
You have willpower and resolve, though.
Dominate,
you have two
charisma,
stats to take.
charisma, manipulation,
5.
manipulation, manipulation.
Crucifixion.
5.
Yeah. Dominate was
you
very
know, those
manipulating.
5 twins
and
on
presence was very charisma.
health and
Wait,
willpower.
yes! I'm not alone.
Okay, now I'm ready for skills.
How'd you get 5?
You get your stats?
I do.
You get your stats? Go. Got your stats? Jim?
Yes, I do.
Samantha, got your stats?
Yes.
And Storkus?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Skills. Pick one of the following attributions: Jack of all trades, balanced, or specialist. You distribute the skills according to one of these schemes. Jack of all trades, 1 skill is at 3, 8 skills at 2, 10 skills at 1. Balanced, 3 skills at 3, 5 skills at 2, 7 skills at 1. Specialist, 1 skill at 4, 3 skills at 3, 3 skills at 2, 3 skills at 1.
I think I'm going to go with special.
What page is that on?
That's
It's
a
on the
136.
creation summary.
136.
136.
Sorry. Yeah.
It's in the bottom left side of the page.
Difficult decision.
Skills at 2.
Well, I'm a Libra, so the urge to pick balanced is strong.
Capricorn. It's kind of the same.
Okay, so 3 out of 3.
Okay. I'm just gonna. I'm gonna play out of type and go specialist. Go against my baser instincts.
I think we go balance. I think there are a lot of things I want to do here. And balance will help.
2, 3.
These skills at 3.
Yeah, I'm going with specialist as well. Because if I was a gifted surgeon, I need to be really good at medicine.
Right.
Yeah, and you'd probably have fairly high academics as well.
Right? That's at 3. You nailed that one. Also science.
5 skills of 2.
Guess I might as well put tech in there too.
Oh God, what am I doing? No, I'm just seeing skills I missed. I'm like, hello.
I mean, the urge for balanced is like, I can have all the things.
And let me know if anyone is taking academics, craft, performance, or science skills.
I am taking performance.
Okay.
I'm taking craft, but we already know what that is.
Right.
I'm taking academics and science.
And I'm probably going to take craft and performance.
Okay. Let's see. So I come across these. Someone had science.
I did.
Okay, here are the specialties. You get one for free.
Okay.
Astronomy, biology, chemistry, demolitions, engineering, genetics, geology, mathematics, and physics.
Let's go with... Gotta figure out what kind of doctor I was.
Biology is always a good choice.
Yeah, right.
Either biology or chemistry, I would
Yeah.
think.
I was...
It would
Toying
probably
with
too
chemistry.
old. Probably too old for it to have been genetics.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, medicine.
Well, 1980.
Yeah, they knew about it, but they weren't gene sequencing or anything.
Well, they hadn't mapped the genome yet, but
Right.
they were working on it in the
Right.
80s.
Let's see. Anyone have academics?
I do.
Okay, if you have academics, you also get a free specialty. They are architecture, English literature, specifically English literature, not literature, English literature, history of art, history, specified field or period, journalism, philosophy, research, teaching, or theology.
Let's do research.
That's a good one.
Okay, and so that's science. Where's performance? Okay, performance.
I'm guessing mine's probably violin.
No, you have to pick between drums, keyboard, and guitar.
Yeah, I want to be successful.
Oddly enough, banjos in
I'm
there
an
too.
artist.
He can't be. No, I'm right. There is violin. It's down at the bottom. It was in alphabetical order. The specialties are comedy, dance, drama, drums, guitar, keyboard. Why don't we just make it musician?
Right.
All the rest of the skills are super general.
Right? I can just make it musician if you want.
I would say
I'm not-
strings.
Strings? I'm okay with
Yeah,
strings.
I would
Right.
just do
Yeah.
it by
Yeah,
type.
but I just saw a video where a world class flute player tried to play her boyfriend's violin and couldn't.
Well, woodwind is different than string.
Yeah. I would
True.
do brass, woodwind, string,
Right, yeah.
percussion.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, I'll take strings.
This is all made for rock bands.
Yeah.
Wind
It is.
instruments, violin, singing, rap, public speaking, poetry, then keyboards, drums, comedy, dance, drama. Did you pick a specialty?
I did. I picked strings.
Okay.
If it's okay. If we have winds on there, some strings would be an okay
Yeah.
option.
It has wind instruments, but violin.
Right? Like, so I'm just going to say, fuck that. I'm taking strings.
Right.
Well, if you're a fiddle
Way
player,
to
you
phone
play-
that section in, whoever wrote that.
Right. Obviously not a musician.
Nope. Seven skills.
And really, keyboard and drums should be just percussion,
Right.
along with guitar.
Oh, guitar, yeah. Just percussion.
Here, percussion.
Okay. Okay, got mine.
Did you get a specialty, Samantha, for performance?
No.
Seven skills of-
Okay. Do you want me to read them, or have you already figured out what you want? You get a free one.
Okay.
The ones they list: comedy, dance, drama, drums, guitar, keyboard, poetry, public speaking, rap, singing, violin, woodwinds. In theory, the storyteller could break these specialties down endlessly.
Let's go with public speaking,
Okay.
because that's the closest to what I want her to
You can also change it to something else if you want.
Okay.
I so
Oratory.
wanted you to do storytelling because I just want to sit here and listen and just improvise a story.
Oh, yeah, she's gonna. Don't worry. Wait till you hear what my concept is.
Awesome! Can't wait.
Anyone have craft?
Yes.
That doesn't. And you need a specialty for that.
Yeah, I have a weirdly specific one, but let's see what's the closest.
Okay. Let me see where they put craft. Mental? Is it under mental? It's not. Would it be under physical? It's not social. Miss Bender. Craft. Here we go. Carpentry, carving, design, painting, sculpting, sewing, weaponsmithing.
Definitely not weaponsmithing. Carving.
That's kind of like sculpting. It is sculpting.
But what does he do? He cuts.
I thought you were doing the Tom Waits. What's he building in there?
Well, sculpting could be both, because it could be building up or cutting away.
Yes.
It often involves
Accurate.
though,
Or attaching things to other things. Let's go with sculpting.
Okay. All right.
Don't
Is it
worry,
like?
it's not creepy at all.
I'm sure.
Is it sculpting in like really big quotation marks? It's
Well,
sculpt.
picture an ossuary.
Yeah. You're putting the skull in sculpting, aren't you?
Yeah.
This is my shout face.
And then let's see. So, anyone with academics, craft, performance, or science, and anyone who doesn't have their free specialty for those. If you took any of those 4 skills,
Nope.
everyone's
Nope.
good. Okay. Disciplines. Choose 2 of your clan disciplines.
Don't we get one more free specialty?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Add free specialty to. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, take 1 more free specialty. I'll totally pick one.
Magic.
Pick the skill you want to have a specialty in.
Okay.
And if I've got the section open so I can look
What
them
are
up.
the specialties for between 2? Occult and persuasion.
Stop taking words out of my mouth.
I mean, I'm also I
No,
have
I'm
3
just
in persuasion, so let's hear those persuasion specialties.
Okay, persuasion, bargaining, fast talk, interrogation, legal argument, negotiation, rhetoric.
Rhetoric is very good.
Yes.
So wait, what is this?
How is
for?
that
This
not arguing?
Specialization for, what was it?
Persuasion. You're going to pick one other skill that you get a free specialty in.
How about subterfuge?
Subterfuge.
Oh yeah, I also want to.
Bluff, feign. Oh no, bluff, feign morality, impeccable lies, innocence, the long con, and seduction.
I'm going to take feign morality.
That's very
Feign
I'm
morality.
taking impeccable lies.
What about occult?
Occult.
I think I get some of the ones I want anyway in my upcoming Predator style.
Oh.
So I'm trying to remember
yeah.
like what that is and what specialties
That's a good
aren't going to
point.
double up there. Which I love. I love that mechanic in this game.
It is pretty cool.
It is good.
It reminds me of Traveler in a way because you get these packages.
You're muted, I think.
Well, it reminds me a bit of like the D&D 5e background.
Occult. Alchemy, blood magic, fairies, ghosts, grimoires, infernalism, magi.
Infernalism.
Oh.
Do you want me to read the rest of them?
Morality, or do I take grimoires? God damn it.
It's hard.
Oh yeah.
When you
You're
get a
making this
chance,
difficult.
the politics.
Politics.
Yes.
Anarchs, Camarilla, city government, clan specific. You pick a clan. Diplomacy, media, national politics, state/provincial politics.
Camarilla.
Okay.
You should also look up medicine to see if it has some specialties in there. I'm sure it does.
Wasn't that one of the ones I listed?
No.
Oh, it wasn't. Okay. Is it? Where
Science
is
and
it?
technology and stuff like that.
Medicine. Here we go. Yes. First aid, hematology, pathology, pharmacy,
That would be
phlebotomy.
Yeah, that's study of blood.
Oh, phlebotomy. Phlebotomy. Okay.
Not phlegm.
Okay,
the
I
study
put
of
an M in
phlegm.
it. I was thinking of the humors.
Yes. The many humors. There's
Which
four.
again is a great mechanic. I
love
love
Yes.
that.
Oh yeah, the I can't remember what they call it. The
Really
basically the flavor of the blood.
Right?
Yeah.
So good.
You know what? If I had gone Toreador, that would have been the name of my jazz band. Is the Many Humors.
Veterinary, trauma care, surgery. Oh, phlebotomist is someone who sticks
Takes
needles.
blood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Takes
okay.
blood, yeah. Flow. So what was there was
Hematology, pathology, pharmacy.
pathology is the diseases, right?
Yes.
Yes, study
Yeah,
of
let's do
disease.
that. That ties in with the whole vampirism.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
I like it.
I'm still working on my other free skill. What is insight?
Let me look.
Better do something good. I got 2 dots in it.
I got 3
Insight?
dots in it. Like,
Same.
I have 0 dots
Is
in
insight a
inside.
skill?
It's a
Yeah.
skill.
Yep.
I wonder what it's under. It's not mental.
that'd be social.
Oh, probably is. Insight. Ambitions, desire... Well, here. Insight grants you the ability to interpret body language, note subtle cues in expression and tone, and determine truth from lies. It allows you to perceive and understand the motives behind another's actions.
There's no specialty.
Yes, there are.
Every skill has specialties.
Oh.
Ambitions, desires, detect lies, emotions, empathy, interrogation, motives, phobias, vices. And you're getting a specialty in one extra skill
extra.
besides
Which is
those.
so difficult.
Vices is so tempting.
Like, detect lies is so tempting. But also, Politics Camarilla is also very good.
Remember, you can still do those things. You
Oh,
just
I
don't
know.
get an extra mechanical
I
advantage.
know.
Right.
I think I'm gonna switch my specialty.
And we can
my
buy
extra one
specialties
to-
later on, too.
to
Yeah, you'll be
vices.
able to buy specialties.
Yeah.
As well.
That I might just do because, like, I
I
want
don't even-
Thane. Like character-wise, I want Thane morality really hard.
Yeah.
But then I have 4 dots in occult, and I really want a specialty out of that.
What's
Yeah.
the difference between melee and brawl?
Melee
Brawl
is
is
with
like
weapons.
with hands.
Hands,
Right.
melee is with weapons.
Okay, so is there a specialty for brawl? Like, is pugilism?
Yeah.
Probably pugilism, martial arts, and that kind of thing.
What's going on with your mic?
I don't know. That's down. That's up. Mic's on.
I turned you up. Okay. Sorry, I'm sorry. What was your question?
The brawl and melee. What are your
Melees with weapons. Oh, the specializations. Oh, melee's right there. Melee. Axes, chains, clubs, fencing, disarming blows, garrotes, improvised weapons, knives, stakes, swords.
I'm going with improvised weapons.
You go with garage, and then you go, here, lend me your violin real quick.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's an improvised weapon
strings
as
are
well.
expensive.
Right.
Just shut up and stop asking
And
questions.
brawl, I guess I'll just
I'll
go
go
with
look at brawl. Animals, armed mortals, bar fights, grappling, kindred, sporting combat, unarmed mortals, wolves, while in protean beast form.
So my specialty could be wolf.
Werewolves.
Brawl. Brawl. So it's just a okay.
You're from Florida, you specialize in crocodiles.
Right?
Crikey.
That's not Florida.
It's some parts of Florida, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I've been to those parts of Florida.
Aren't those alligators?
Or alligator.
I mean, actually, like Florida
Actually, there
is
is a
both
American
like,
crocodile.
There is.
but
One
heavier
species.
into crocodiles. But
But you
I
find
only
all
know
over
that
the
because
South.
there's a whole thing about Louisiana and alligators in
Oh, yeah.
Florida and crocodiles. That,
Don't they have, like, nutria there, too, that they hunt?
Yes.
All kinds
That's
of
what plants
well,
crave.
there used to be, I don't know if there still is, but there used to be like a bounty for nutria because they're an invasive species.
What's nutria?
It's a big
It's
rat.
a big rat.
Oh, really?
But it tastes good, so whatever.
Is it like a capybara?
I don't
No,
know
not
about
quite
That
that
big?
big.
Okay.
They're kind of like
They're
a
about
chihuahua
like,
big.
they're kind of
They're
like,
like chihuahua
like
big.
a beaver sized.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
kind of like beavers.
So the average size of a rat in New York.
Yes.
There you go.
And for a long time there was a bounty on them because they were an invasive species and they were killing the swamps because they never stopped eating. Because if they stop eating, their teeth will grow into their brains.
Ew.
They're a
Just
giant
like
rodent.
muskrats.
Yeah. Oh, I might be confused here.
That puts a whole new spin on muskrat love for
I
me.
was just
Right.
thinking that.
I might be confused here, by the way. This is sort of voted. So the add free specialties: academics, craft, performance, and science skills, and then it says take one more free specialty. Is that just for those?
No.
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 All right.
The other
That's
ones
the
are
one we're all
free.
deciding on.
It's
The
just the
extra.
way it's laid out.
The
I was
extra
like-
one
Yeah.
is anything.
Because it doesn't have the white box next to it.
Has everyone got their specialty?
Yes.
See?
Okay. Disciplines. Choose 2 of your clan disciplines. Put 2 dots in one and 1 in the other.
Done.
You are going to be able to add points when you do your XP at the end. So
Lovely.
If you really can't choose which one not to have, you can have it later. And there's no cative characters and there's no thin blood characters. So 2 dots in one and 1 dot in the other. Everyone let me know when you're done.
Done.
Done?
Yes.
Storkus?
Yep.
Okay. Predator. Pick your predator type from page 175. I should have printed this page out because there's a lot of predator types.
Yes.
I remember the predator type. I don't remember the specifics, but I remember.
And then you will add 1 to the listed specialties, add 1 dot to the listed discipline, apply any associated advantages or flaws.
If you can flip to Siren, because I know that's the predator type I wanted to take.
Nice.
Are they in alphabetical
I need
order?
homework.
Oh, they are. Okay, here we go. You add specialty persuasion seduction or subterfuge seduction.
Let's do Persuasion Seduction.
Gain 1 dot of fortitude or presence.
We'll put it in Presence.
Gain the looks merit 2 dots. Beautiful.
Yep. Looks under advantages, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's a merit, so it would be under advantages.
Yeah.
And what was it called again?
Me-
Good looking.
gain the looks merit 2 dots. Beautiful. So it'll be looks 2 dots. And the level is beautiful.
I'm going with Bagger.
Okay. And you also gain the enemy flaw 1 dot. A spurned lover or jealous partner.
Lovely.
And I'll need to know who that is soonish, like in the next couple weeks.
Kevin Sorbo.
It's Kevin Sorbo.
God, no.
There's a name from nowhere. Wow.
I just first thing popped in my head.
Andromeda.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, he's Andromeda.
The name that usually pops in my head is F. Murray Abraham.
That's a great one too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am taking Scene Queen.
Scene Queen. I love that name.
That was close. Yeah.
Very close on that one.
You add a specialty, etiquette, specific scene, leadership, specific scene, or streetwise specific scene.
Okay. And then gain 1 dot of
Dominate or potence.
Or potence.
You know, it's weird. I'm going with
I don't-
Bagger, and it says gain a dot in blood sorcery. I'm like, that doesn't.
No, there's another option.
Oh,
Only
right.
Tremere.
Or obfuscate. That doesn't work either.
Okay.
Well, you get the one in Obfuscate, so you have one in Obfuscate for free.
But I don't have that as a discipline.
No, but you get
You
it.
get it.
You'd still, yeah, I think you would still get it.
Yeah.
What is the fame advantage?
That's just general
Oh, here
notoriety.
it is. Advantages and flaws. And it's
Yeah.
1 dot in
Yeah.
that. Cool. In page 2.
Right, so yeah, I'm going with Bagger. And for those of you playing along at home, I get to add the specialty larceny or streetwise. And I gain 1 dot in blood sorcery or obfuscate. I gain the feeding merit iron gullet.
And what?
Funny.
And I gain the enemy flaw. Either someone believes you owe them, or there's another reason to keep you, or there's another reason you keep off the streets.
And I'll need anyone who's getting any NPC contacts. Maybe if we have time at the end of the session, we can develop them and make our little map.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm taking the feeding flaw prey exclusion.
Okay, that means
One
that you're limited, there's one thing you can't eat off of, or does that mean that there's one thing you have to eat off of? I don't remember.
This says prey exclusion, a different subculture than yours, and then I'll have to cross-reference to see exactly how
Okay.
mechanically that'll play out.
Okay.
But the other one that the other influence flaw I could have taken was disliked outside of your subculture,
Okay.
and that was a little too real.
That's fair.
Did you pick one, Samantha?
Osiris.
Okay.
Nice. That was the other one I was looking at.
I have
It's
no
so
idea.
good.
Oh yeah, Osiris is good. Good.
Well,
Oh.
There's actually not that many of them. There's only
Like 3
like
pages
8.
of them, yeah.
Yeah. So for Osiris, I get to add a specialty, occult, specific tradition. I'm going to pick infernalism because I changed to vices for the other one. I gain 1 dot of presence, and I get to spend 3 dots between the fame and herd backgrounds, and 2 dots between enemies and mythic flaws.
Okay. Cool. And
So the fame and herd backgrounds, does that just go in advantages and flaws? Because there's not like a background section.
I get.
Yeah, I think it goes under advantages
I
and
would
flaws.
guess.
I think the advantages and flaws are broken up into like mythic, background,
Okay.
looks.
So I'm just going to note how much I have to spend there for now.
There's also well, before we get to spending XP, everyone the table gets 5 dots to spend on your domain,
Oh, nice.
because your domain has attributes too. Not attributes, but it can have flaws and merits.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like if you guys decide it's really important that our our
Haven.
domain have something, whatever that is, you can actually convert character XP points and to buy up that thing.
Like, for example, if somebody wants to buy Haven, everybody can chip in for it, and then it belongs to the coterie and not just the one person.
Well, your havens are... Your havens would be contained within the thing, the domain anyway.
Okay.
But it mostly is stuff like how secure is it, how big is it. It's like more like attributes, but it can have merits and flaws as well. It can have enemies and which are yours, and there are times when you get to use those extra dots. Like if you have, one of the things you can take is like you're all like really well tied socially to your domain. You know what's going on, so if someone is trying to do something, you can add dice for the dots it has in that attribute in order to boost your. Because if it's happening in your turf, you're going to know about it. Long time.
Okay. So that was disciples, then predator type. When you add a specialty to something that you don't have dots in, like you haven't spent points yet in, is it like a get a dot and add the specialty, or is it just add the specialty?
I've been doing it as you get a dot.
Yeah,
Because
I
you can't
want to
have
say
it
I
at
read
0.
somewhere that if something gives you a specialty and something you don't have any dots in, you just get a dot in it. I think. Well, that was some other rule.
That sounds familiar. Although every rules discussion about White Wolf books starts with, I think I read somewhere.
Right.
I mean...
But you can almost never find it again.
Oh, yeah.
I can't imagine you have a specialty in something and not actually know it.
I mean, not counting the errata supplement. This book is
I went with
431
Sandman,
pages
by the way.
long.
And it's not that well laid out.
I
And I've got to say the
skimmed
font
it,
is really
and I
small.
mostly skimmed the character creation portion today.
I mean, I may have read the book.
You got one?
multiple
What'd you
times,
take?
But, you know,
I
not
took,
that I'm
Sandman.
Sandman.
And
That's a great one.
I was trying to read this the other day, the book, and I'm like, why are the margins, there's so much wasted space in the margins. Like, why is the writing so small?
That's where the
Why are they
PDF
saving,
really
right?
comes in handy.
So for some reason, like I was reading the PDF on my computer, and for some reason, scrolling every once in a while it would skip a page. So I was trying to figure out what is going on. Like this makes no sense, and have to like eventually use the page down button on my Adobe.
That's annoying.
Yeah.
I was finding it frustrating on my computer because it kept bringing up the menu, like when I would scroll down. And I'm like, that's in front of the things I'm trying to read. Please go away.
Okay, advantages. Spend 7 points on advantages and take 2 points of flaws.
You have the advantages printed out here?
I don't think I had that section printed out. I can distribute this book plus...
It's the next page over, 179. Oh, right, you guys...
And then you add any supporting cast from advantages and flaws to the relationship map.
Yeah, we better start. We can probably start on that relationship map.
Yes. Well, I can put our names in whatever.
You don't have character names. That's hard.
I think I have a character name.
I
I
have
think
a
I
character
have
name.
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I figured out before I came in here.
I had
Well,
an idea
like-
for a character name, but I wasn't sure. What's your...
Well,
My character name is Felix St. John.
Put it on the map.
This is exciting. I get to write names down.
St. John.
My character name is Colin Shaw.
So Felix St. John. And what was yours, Joey?
Colin Shaw.
Shaw.
Mm-hmm. Shaw?
I don't have a name yet. Something doctory.
oh, it's 179 for advantages if anyone
Dr.
is still
McDoctor
looking.
Face?
Dr. McDoctor face.
Who else has names?
I do.
What's your name?
Which one? Me?
Either.
Anna Sophia Bianchi.
Biancci?
CHI.
CHI.
Lakshmi Shah.
How you spell that?
LAKSHMI
Okay.
SHAH.
H. Got it.
I've heard that name somewhere before. I swear I have. It's ringing such a huge bell in my head.
Well, it's kind of like Lakshmi and Shah are pretty common Indian names.
Yeah.
So it's highly possible. Just like there are a lot of me running around. So many me. So many more me than people think there are.
I told you what happened when I followed you on Twitter.
No.
My-
Oh, yes,
on the
because you
side,
got like half a dozen other Pooja Sharmas to follow.
all it gave me for like 2 weeks. It's like, here's some other people you might want to follow. All named Pooja Sharma. All of them. For like 2 weeks.
Well, which is like kind of goes with my life. It's like, because like people hear my name and they're like, you don't really look like her, but I went to school with this Pooja. And I'm like, most common name of my generation.
Yeah. I just school somebody named Poonam. but not
Like,
Pooja.
it is literally like, I grew up with 6 others in South Louisiana.
Wow.
Wow.
And, and it's, my last name is also really common.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we're no Patel. But,
Who is?
I've had
The
3
Patels.
doctors named Patel. 3 individuals.
I mean, the Patel brothers, they have done really, really well for themselves.
Guy named Stork.
Nope, I'm still looking at. Here's one. Slingluff. What a great last name. But no, I'm not going with Slingluff.
Oh, come on.
It sounds like a disease you get.
Dr.
Well,
Flegel.
duh!
You're a doctor. You're the
character.
disease after you.
Dr.
There you go.
Dr. Flegelhorn.
Flugelhorn? I did Flugelhorn once before.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, remember the archaeologist with,
Oh, that's
with
right.
the sherds?
The sherds and the shards.
Yep.
We could poll the chat.
Yeah.
What kind of
Chat
background?
name Stork.
What kind of background?
Let's see. Yeah, he was a specialty in pathology.
Yes, but
like-
ethnic background.
Yeah.
Cultural
background.
Anglo-Saxon, because I'm not feeling very creative today.
I mean, we could have just named you Patel, but like, never mind.
Don't start giving me things with accents, because you'll regret
So
it
many
immediately.
stereotypes
I
thrown
don't do
around.
accents.
If we start doing O'Hara, it's going to be, oh, shit, it's so good to see you all there.
Also,
That
I
was
am
real
gonna.
Milwaukee, not even Irish. It was straight Milwaukee.
Make I don't
Name
know.
you Floopy McButt.
I am gonna say that just because like somebody has like an ethnic last name does not mean they would have to have an accent that is outside of.
No, I know,
like,
but it's a temptation for me
generic US.
once I get.
John Smith.
Yeah, all right, John Smith.
Hey, man.
Dr. John Smith. MD.
Jonas.
You going to take it?
You could be a Jonas.
Jonas Smitty.
Ooh.
Jonas
Just keep talking
Thornville.
amongst yourselves. I'll come up with something.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we have to do the map.
Yeah.
All right, let's go with
Clem.
Clam.
Maynard.
Yes.
Mallard.
Maynard Skinner.
There
Mallard.
you go.
Maynard Skinner.
Skinner's a great doctor name.
Well,
Doctor or
Mallard was
serial
the
killer?
doctor
Not
from
sure.
Why not both?
NCIS, right?
Oh, we can name it after
Dr.
my.
Mallard.
Yeah, let's go with Floyd. Floyd Gilmore.
There you go.
Dr.
Okay,
Floyd
that's
Gilmore.
a good name.
I like it. Love it.
Yeah, that's great.
It sounds reasonably waspish.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Gilmore with a U.
Moure. Just
Ooh.
fresh off the boat from London.
That's so pretentious. I love it.
Are resources and advantages now? Because I don't see any backgrounds anymore. They changed.
They
that?
probably are. Let me get back to that section.
There are backgrounds
Yeah.
on page 184.
Which we also did not print out.
Oh, do you
My
need the
phone is in the
advantages section?
car.
No, it's just
Oh,
that
do
I
you
got
wanna look at
resources
my
one
iPad?
from my
I made it. You're
thingamajigger.
done.
True now, yes.
Yeah,
And I don't know where to write it down.
spend 7 points on advantages and
Oh, I
take
need
2
to spend
points
my
of
7
flaws
points.
in addition to the ones you gain from your predator type.
You want to share the book?
Any new supporting cast from advantages and flaws to the relationship. And let me find that section. What section is that in?
The advantages?
Advantages and flaws?
179.
179.
I actually have a bunch that I kind of picked
There you
out.
go.
So we have
Sweet.
how many? 7 points?
Yeah.
7 points, and you
points.
take, what did it say? Two?
Yeah, 2 and
Two, and doesn't it?
Not taking beautiful. Come on, you guys.
This guy got us covered. I might actually put 2 more points into it and become stunning.
Become what?
Stunning.
Oh.
I'm really tempted. Like, I want it. I want to be stunning.
Yeah. I understand.
Well, I already.
So we need to spend 2 points in flaws, all right?
Okay, I hate the fact that it
So 2 points.
gives me double pages. I can't read
7
my-
points advantages and 2 points flaws.
2 points flaws. Okay. I like the mythic flaws. Like, those are super fun.
Oh yeah, I'm taking Stigmata, by the way.
Oh, of course you are. Again, shocked face.
Where's the resources one? HIJKL and resources. Flaw destitute. That's only a 1-point flaw.
Oh, there are backgrounds on page 184.
Yeah, but I think they're just a type of advantage.
Yes, they're under the
Yeah.
subheading advantage.
That makes sense. Attributes. Yeah, this is probably going to be the hardest part of the whole.
It is. I actually want to take more flaws than advantages.
Oh, I have a question. So in the Predator type, it said take 2 dots in enemies and mythic flaws. Does that mean I have to spend 1 dot in each?
Oh, I don't know. I don't have the.
You know, it's funny. One of mine had the 2-dot symbol. If you get 2 dots in it like that, if it didn't have that, I would assume that you get 1 in each. Not to, otherwise, it would tell you that,
What-
right?
Where was
Predator. I forget what page.
Predator types?
Yeah, it was under Osiris.
Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Some of them say or,
Right.
but there's only 2 dots.
We should also check the errata. 'Cause that could be one of those things that was a typo.
Oh, okay.
What page was that on again? Do you remember?
I don't.
Are you going to have a seal of masks, Stu? Masks?
It's on page 177.
177.
Oh, thank you.
Change gain feeding flaw vegan to folkloric banes include. Okay, that's the only thing from that page.
Okay.
So
So spend 2 dots between enemies and mythic flaws. Sounds like you have to spend 1 in each.
yeah, it does. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure that I couldn't take more mythic flaws because those are great.
Then see, they dropped this thin blood thing right in the middle of all of this, and it takes up like 4 pages.
Right,
It's really
it's so
irritating.
There's
confusing.
specific ones. Oh, and then there's backgrounds.
Wait, I'm confused in terms of my flaw pre-exclusion.
Let me see if I can find it.
Well, it says you refuse to hunt a certain class of prey,
Haven.
drug users, women, children, policemen, innocents, a given minority or ethnic group. And if you feed on such prey, you gain stains as though you had violated a chronicle tenet.
Right.
Witnessing other kindred feeding on the object of your exclusion without interfering might also give stains at storyteller's discretion.
Right.
Then true with this flaw, gain additional restriction. But the way that it read for... I mean, I may just be misunderstanding it, but the way that it read for my predator type was that I gain the influence flaw. Oh, a different subculture than mine. Yes, I read it wrong.
okay.
That's cool.
Okay, so I have a question. So your haven is like where you sleep and whatnot.
Yes.
Is domain...
Your domain is your hunting ground.
Okay.
And you are a coterie. You have a single
so
domain.
we have a collective domain.
You have we're going to build that domain.
Okay.
And then you may have separate havens within it, but that is your turf, and you guys basically been given that by the prince
Okay.
to do with what you will. Other vampires coming into it, if they don't make their presence known to you first, would be considered poaching. I mean, it's your hunting ground.
Would you say that an abandoned church is a good size or very large?
It's bigger than a house.
You're
Most
talking about
churches.
as far as a haven? Mm-hmm. Let me read this section real quick.
Here.
It's on page 188. Sorry.
There is the flaw for your haven for being haunted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't think I'm not taking that.
Of course. Just making sure you were aware. I was reading that this morning, I'm like, and there's Sam. And all of these, I'm guessing, are all 1 point? Like for hidden armory or location or...
Yeah, they should. It
There's
should
all 1
say.
point, right? Like,
Yeah.
it just looks like it's one... I'm not sure if it's a bullet point or if it's 1 point.
It's 1 point, yeah.
Okay. Okay, but I think I'm going to put the last point.
So what were you asking me about the size of it? Or-
Whether an abandoned church would be considered good size or very large, because there's a point difference.
That's under Haven. Where is that? I'm looking, trying
Under
to
Haven.
One,
merits and flaws.
It's in
Before that.
backgrounds? Question mark?
yes, it's under backgrounds. It's page
188. Yeah.
So Haven merits and flaws. There's haunted, which is a flaw for 1 point at the very bottom of 188.
Mm-hmm.
At the top right of 188, it says like flaw, no haven, and there's 3
Oh,
bullet points
okay,
under
got it.
that.
Got it.
I'm assuming small is too small, but I just want to know if I have to spend.
Oh, I
2
think
or
it would
3.
be. I think a church. Well, I mean, a church. If it's a little church, it would be a good size. But if it's like a traditional church, I would think that would be
3?
big. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, bank building, compound outside town, decommissioned subway station. Yeah. Why wouldn't they even put church in there?
Still trying to find 2 points in a flaw that I want to take.
You could take 2 1-point flaws, though.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to take the folkloric block of crossing a threshold of a home uninvited by the owner.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
I took the wild roses
What's Wild Roses?
folkloric block.
It just says wild roses. I'm guessing wild roses were a deterrent for vampires at some point.
Oh, okay, right.
I also love the spilled seeds you hadn't counted. That's such a great...
Yeah.
I know, it's so good.
It's super great.
If somebody spills seeds you already counted, you're like, sorry about it.
Yeah. I know.
knew. I knew.
42.
The scent of a rose is supposed to keep vampires at bay. The thorns are said to trap vampires in their graves, and even the petals are said to damage a vampire's wild dog roses. No, damage a vampire. Wild dog roses are also commonly used. Huh.
Well, this would just be the wild varieties.
Right.
Thank goodness.
One more 1 point.
I'm still struggling between the difference between a contact and an ally. A contact basically looks like they give you information.
Yeah.
And an ally is someone that can help you out.
That would be my
So I
understanding.
want an ally in the morgue. Would he, an ally in the morgue that would supply me with blood bags because they're draining bodies all the time? How many dots do you think that would be? I got a 1, 2, or 3.
What
It's
is
on
this-
page 184.
I'm taking obvious predator.
Okay.
That makes sense for Nosferatu.
184.
Or 185. It says effectiveness.
Oh, effectiveness. Okay.
And reliability. I'm not sure if it's that or if it's a contact that I'm looking for.
No, I think it would be an ally. I don't think it would be a contact. Because you're getting something from them. You're not just getting information.
Models who
That's
support
true.
and help you.
Yeah.
I would say... Because, wow, the allies, it really looks like these are people who are going to fight with you.
Well, yeah, it says because the effectiveness.
Oh, but there's also reliability,
right.
too.
You
So they're
call them, they're
effective...
here at the time. It's like an ally, somebody you can call on, and then a contact or human.
Maybe it's very Shadowrunny, and then to contact somebody you can call for some information. An ally is somebody that'll actually stick their neck out for you.
Which, that would be this kind of situation.
Yeah, because they get in trouble for stealing blood from corpses.
Yes.
Well, they'd have to drain the corpses anyway. That's part of the thing.
Right, but,
So they have all this
there's,
extra
but there's
blood
probably...
that just wash down the drain.
Well, they probably don't wash it down the drain. It probably goes to a biomedical waste place, and people are going to start wondering, well, our bill on biomedical waste dropped by, like, all of it.
Maybe that's how they make Hubba
It's not
Bubba.
truckloads I'm going through every day. Well, whatever.
Is
Depends
it,
on how hungry you are.
is
Yeah.
it too metagamey if my conviction and my prey exclusion are synonymous?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think
So,
so.
how many
Just
dots
reinforces
for
that.
ally
Okay.
to make that work?
Well,
the guy
I-
in the morgue's giving me blood bags.
Well, his effectiveness would be 1.
Right.
okay, so
But his reliability, that's going to depend on you. When you call in them, they appear in 1 to 10 hours. Roll a die. When you call in, they appear as soon as possible.
But I would go to them.
Right, you're going to him, that means he's keeping a supply of bagged blood for you. Mm-hmm. Well, let's see.
You think on it. I just need to know how many points I'm spending on it.
I'm thinking about what, because I mean, you've got people. People go to the morgue with all sorts of reasons, so it's not necessarily his reliability as much as it is how many corpses are coming in with enough blood to harvest for you.
My whole thought
and
is
they have to be fresh, right?
No, because I've got the iron gullet thing. I can even drink plasma.
Okay.
My thought is that maybe this is an old colleague that I knew from my doctory days.
Okay.
But
I think the reliability is going to be more about when they have the supply you need, rather than if they're doing it for you, they're doing it for you.
I figured every time a corpse came in, because they have to drain it of blood anyway, they can't just then pump stuff in there to preserve it. They just have blood, and normally they don't.
I would say.
Normally they count how many pints I'm sure they fill up a bag and write how many pints they put in there, and he just subtracts a pint and gives me one.
Right. Yeah, I would probably say that's probably a 2 dot.
All right, 2 dots. I'm just so I can keep track of how much I'm spending.
Right. Oh, and one of the things that about blood potency, when you guys get to that, because we'll have the option of buying it up a little bit. You are a more powerful vampire and can do more stuff, but it's also harder to feed.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because it's suddenly, like, bagged blood, not possible. You can't use it anymore.
It doesn't have any potency at all.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But you don't need potency to live. It just increases your power outage.
But it doesn't get rid of your hunger.
Yeah, that's the issue.
I think with Iron Gullet it does.
I'll look at it.
I took the Flaw Stalkers.
Because otherwise they wouldn't make the hunting thing bagger. Why would you get a hunting thing that doesn't work as a hunter?
Yeah, but see, there's also rules specifically about blood potency.
Mm-hmm.
See, because there's that chart that gives you... Where's blood potency? Is it on the previous page?
Here, I'll look it up in the glossary in the back. Because I know what you're saying.
Slake's no hunger for vampires above potency 2.
So why would you get the bagger hunter type if it doesn't do anything?
If you're a potency 1, if you're a younger vampire, it does do effects.
So then that's all it is? It only works for younger vampires? It doesn't carry all the way up?
Because, there's tons of rules. There's tons of rules. As your blood potency goes up, it becomes harder to it gets to the point where it's like one human doesn't contain enough for you to slake one hunger.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like you're a high-performance vehicle and you need high-octane fuel.
Right. Vampire, what about buying and feeding from medical blood bags? Unfortunately for the vampire community, most medical blood supply is fractionalized, centrifuged into separate plasma, blah, 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 blah. Without the iron gullet, vampires gain no sustenance from the processed blood.
Okay, but iron gullet...
unprocessed bagged blood, as with animal blood, cannot slake hunger for drinkers with blood potency 2 or above.
Iron Gullet says, at 3 dots, you can feed from cold blood, rancid blood, and fractionalized plasma.
Yeah, you can eat them. It doesn't slake your hunger.
None of these provide resonances. Ventrue may not take this merit. That's on page 182. Is there anything on the errata?
Let me look.
Because I know exactly what you're saying, but then why would they have it in here if it's useless?
Why would anyone not take it, and then you don't ever have to worry about... It breaks the blood potency rules.
Right? And yes, and...
If we're interpreting it as...
advantages, that does seem kind of badass.
Right. No, there's no errata for that. What is blood potency on? What page?
Oh, that's not blood potency. This is
I'm sorry. What is it called?
It's called Iron Gullet.
Iron
it's
Gullet.
on 182.
182.
And 181 is feeding.
No, there's no. Nope. Neither of those have errata.
Yeah, that seems murky at best. Blood bag. What is that? 212? We're so quiet.
I
just took such mundane stuff compared to you guys.
I know.
Sort of is like people who are chronically ill or people who are suffering from fatal illness too specific for a prey exclusion.
Those are people. The prey exclusion is you pick one group you won't feed
I
from.
won't feed from.
Okay.
Is that too specific?
What is it again?
Like people suffering from a chronic or fatal illness.
Aha. Here it is on page 212.
Mm-hmm.
Without the Iron Gullet merit, page 182, vampires gain no sustenance from processed blood. Unprocessed bag blood, as with animal blood, cannot slack any hunger for drinkers with blood potency above 2. So, okay, I don't know if it's...
Yeah, that's what he just read.
That's what I just read.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I said... Yeah, I don't think...
So I think
if I was
you're
you...
playing a character at the age we're playing, it's moot. Like it's not going to be worth it to take it.
Yeah, I mean, you can have it, but it's not going to slake hunger.
Yeah, I think that merit is designed for people that are of lower generation.
Exactly.
Right.
That makes sense.
There's people have mics muted.
I don't think
I
so.
think I might.
Is your mic
Off?
Mine's on. I'm super on.
Okay. All
I
right.
can move mine closer.
Yeah, but I really do think that merit's meant for like thin bloods and
Right.
for people of lower
Mm-hmm.
generation. Because it's hard enough being a thin blood. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty cool that they give them a little something.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I got my
Though there's
advantages
the
and
feeding,
flaws.
like, if you take the predator type that you can, it's like called bagger or something.
Mhm, that's what
That's
I
what
Yeah.
it took.
Yeah, and that gives you the ability to slake your hunger for backed blood, correct?
That's
Well,
That was
that's
the
just
whole
his
point of it.
preference of hunting. But if he's of an age where it's not going to do any good, he wouldn't pick that predator.
Yeah.
Right. So that whole hunting thing is
Yeah,
useless.
it might not be the right choice for this,
Well,
this age of a
That's
character.
weird.
That's what I'm saying. You know, because everybody else's hunting type carries through all the way up to their, you know.
Yeah, but that
Yeah.
one
Generations.
breaks a major conceit
know.
of the hunger rules.
I know.
Weird.
Because then, I mean, if you had that advantage,
Well, you still got to get the blood, but
Exactly.
no, but if you had that advantage and you were like blood potency 6, there's no downside to being the whole thing with blood potency is there's an increasing downside as it increases in power. It becomes harder and harder to feed, and
Yeah, it's a balancing factor of how badass you are as a vampire. You have to spend more effort to actually
Right.
get the juice for that power.
okay. I mean, you're the storyteller. It just seems odd to me. Maybe I can do some more research on it, but I totally get it. It just was fitting with the character who.
Right.
Who-
Yeah, you're... Oh, man, you're hungry all the time. That's crazy awesome.
Gotta resolve that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
It's going to fix that real quick.
so why are you taking the thing so it doesn't become a disadvantage?
We're trying to break the game, Stork.
There's the stork.
Just went. Yeah. I'm not.
That's exactly what you did.
No, you're not trying. You just stumbled on it.
I
That's how
refuse-
incredibly casual you are.
I refuse to kill people,
Well, no, because
but I can drink some.
Well, that's the thing. He wants to be a doctor. His whole idea is to get his humanity up. He wants to. he
Sure,
wants to-
yeah, that's
so therefore
everyone's.
he doesn't want
Yeah.
to kill
That's
anybody.
everyone's, yeah.
And it bumps up against his Hippocratic Oath, which is that she'll cause no harm to people.
Right.
So he wanted to go with bag blood from them.
Right.
So I went with bagger, but that doesn't seem to work at all. So now I got to come up with a different predator.
Well,
type.
what is the lowest? What is the lowest an Ancillae can have in blood potency?
Like it's
No
2.
idea.
Oh, it is. I think
think
that's
it's
where the
2.
cutoff is.
Yeah, I think that's where it kind of starts.
Yeah, because that's one of the major differentiations between Ancillae and neonates is that neonates have a blood potency of 1, and Ancillae have a blood potency of 2.
And they're what 10th and 11th gen?
Yeah,
I had
Ancillae are 10th and 11th gen.
Yeah. And then Neonites are 12th and 13th.
Yeah.
I made a chart. I found the chart in here somewhere.
Yeah, there are a couple really useful charts.
I copied it over into my OneNote. I just have to find it. Rousing conflict.
Oh, by the way, there is some professional packages here. Like there's one called the Artist on 145.
Well, yeah, so you're picking skills. I'm pretty
I
confident
missed
in my
that.
skills.
Completely missed
Yeah,
that.
I'm pretty happy with my skill set.
Yeah. My skills right for this character.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, at 10 to 10 generations 10 to 11, your blood potency can be anywhere between 1 to 4.
Oh.
So if you kept it down below at blood potency 1, that would still totally work. But at blood potency 2,
Is there a flaw that allows you to decrease your blood potency, regardless of your generation?
to decrease it, well, he could be Gen 10 or 11 and still have a blood potency of 1.
Oh, okay. Because in this Ancillae embraced between 1780 and 1940, blood potency is listed as 2 as their starting blood potency.
Oh, that may be. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
If there's something he needs to take to drop it to
Yeah.
1.
Is there a flaw you can take to drop it to 1, remain an Ancillae for the rest of the characters?
I wonder if there's what's the cost of raising it from 1 to 2? Maybe you just get that many extra XP.
Well, the thing is, disadvantages don't give anything back. You just get disadvantages, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
it's not like merits and flaws used to be before.
But the experience points you need to go up in blood potency is the new level times 10. Just for reference.
20 point.
That's a lot.
That's a ton.
yeah, that means you'd get 55 extra XP.
Right.
That's
I wonder
crazy.
if the chat room has any input on this.
They've been quiet. Let me look.
Well, okay. I can look up something else just to see, so that we can.
Oh
move
yeah,
on.
someone is asking. The point cost of the merit he's taking is 3 dots. Or
Right.
that's not the point cost, but it's 3.
Right.
It's 3 points. 3
Yes,
dots.
it is. But I got it for free by picking the bagger disadvantage or the bagger predator type.
Bragger predator type.
You get it. You get it. You gain the feeding merit Iron Gullet at 3 points.
Right.
Yeah, so that's free, and then
That's free.
But my
Outside of the
interpretation of
points.
this is that particular prey style is intended to be used by
I understand.
higher generation vampires.
It does. Nowhere does it say that though. It's really
Yeah, and it's just extremely vague about it.
They're vague about a lot of stuff.
The more complex and the more features you add to a game, the more possible it becomes to really cover every contingency.
totally.
Oh yeah.
I mean, really, this is actually a fairly well-designed book. It's got a good glossary. It's got some good charts. But when it comes to disciplines and that kind of stuff, you're always going to have some
This
vagaries.
is one of the most easy to follow World of Darkness books I've read in a while.
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
actually.
Actually, I was really impressed with all the 20th anniversary or whatever the new
V20.
The V20.
I like V20.
I haven't read a lot of the V20. Last one I really read was New World of Darkness.
I read-
It's been a minute.
The new Changeling, and I've read the new Mage, and they're both really, really well put together.
Oh, okay. Now I just looked at this sentence again, and the way that the punctuation is: without the Iron Gullet merit, vampires gain no sustenance from processed blood. Period. Unprocessed bagged blood, as with animal blood, cannot slake hunger for drinkers with blood potency above 2. That second sentence is a separate sentence. It is not part of the Iron Gullet thing. It's confirming. It's saying don't take that. or figure maybe you can just take a different
Predator type.
pick or just pick a different flaw.
I didn't pick it. It's
Well,
part
it's
of,
given to
it's
him
part
That's
of
what
by
I'm
his
Predator
predator
type.
type.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe instead don't use that. Use a different one
Right.
because that one is
Actually, if you're willing to let them have any 3-point merit other than that one
Yeah.
as part of that thing, that
Well,
makes
that's
sense.
kind of the whole theme of the predator type
Yeah.
is that he doesn't feed on living
Yeah.
people. He feeds on
right.
blood bags.
Yeah.
Right.
Another really good one is the one where it only has to be a willing victim.
Consensualist.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Yeah, I'm looking
also
at
a
that.
really good choice.
Which,
But-
I mean, you kind of were, so that kind of,
That's true.
yeah.
Yeah, it does work because it adds medicine phlebotomy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'll just do that.
Okay.
Yay!
Were we okay with my
So now I get rid of my
terminally ill
obfuscate.
exclusion, or should I get more broad?
I think it's probably not quite broad enough.
Not broad enough. Okay.
I would just say anybody with an illness.
Illness? I think that.
Well, you could do, but what you originally said was chronic or terminal.
Right.
And I feel like that makes it broad enough because chronic illness.
Oh, that could...
Yeah, it's any
my God.
diabetic would
Yeah,
count
exactly.
as somebody with a-
Asthmatic.
Yeah, asthmatic. Chronically ugly.
You're going to starve. that actually might be too broad. A lot of people in their 20s who haven't developed whatever chronic illness they're going
Right.
to develop later on in life.
Everybody's
Well,
got.
to be fair, pre-diabetes is
To
not
be fair.
diabetes. To be fair.
To be fair.
to be fair.
So, FYI, I also took a herd.
Okay.
Nice.
So I feel like herd and stalkers just go hand in hand.
Right.
Yeah.
True. I have gained a herd with my Osiris predator type. So I have 2 dots in that, so that I have 4 to 7 vessels, about half of which share the same resonance as me, which we haven't got to yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Resonances let you kind of fuel certain types of disciplines.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you will have a preference. Like, you want to go for people, like, people who, in a certain mindset because
super
their blood...
sneaky people would be good for obfuscate.
Yes.
Right.
I'm all about sanguine.
I'm eating so many ninjas. I'm telling you, I'm hunting them down.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a ninja foodie.
Oh!
Do you want us to tell you the advantages and flaws we picked?
No, I'll just have you snap pictures of your character
Okay,
sheets when
perfect.
you're
Okay.
And I took 3 dots and retainers for that ghoul that is basically my front man guy.
Oh, nice.
Got it. Okay. And also, anyone who's taking anything that is creating a stalker, an ally, an enemy,
I have an enemy.
any of those things,
Of course you
So do I.
that come up with who that person is for me and send it
Okay.
to me over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Okay. When the book.
What do you do?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, so
Sorry. There you go.
Where's the little... Okay,
The
we
little
did
chart.
advantages.
Now
Convictions and touchstones, I think is
Yep.
next.
We got to do the
Yes.
cool stuff because we got to do the map.
Conviction.
None so far. Knock on wood.
1 to 3.
Arrests. Yes.
Page 172. So select 1 to 3 convictions. Create an equal number of touchstones, each connected to 1 conviction, and add them to your relationship map. Set your humanity to 7.
Yay.
Just so you know, that's going to go down 1 point because we're Ancillae. So
Oh, that's right.
Where
Where's
is
our
Mark
humanity?
Humanity?
Is it on the front?
very bottom right.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
took you a while
Oh,
to
there
do.
it is.
Very, very bottom.
Page 172.
So we're going to be 6 because of...
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll automatically drop mine, but instead of making you guys erase. Erase.
Okay, so I still need to figure out my advantages.
There are some sample convictions, but you kind of come up with them. It's kind of like what you had in Old Vampire, where you come up with those 2 descriptive words.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Your
Virtue and Vice.
virtue and vice.
Don't need that ally.
Or was it mean and in the original one it was like the person that you portrayed in public, the person you portrayed yourself. I can't remember. Nature and demeanor.
Yeah, there it is. That's it. That's the one.
And then you guys also will need to come up with your chronicle tenets, which are basically 3 things that are your rules.
Okay. Do we pick? So we pick one.
Oh no, they
conviction?
apply to everyone. This is like, see, it's they kind of blurred the line between something like Lines and Veils and chronicle tenets.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
But I mean, we're obviously gonna have certain things that we're not gonna include in the game. But I don't see any need to make that
Right.
the game mechanic.
It just kind of seems like double dipping at that point.
Right. I wonder if we don't even need them at all. No, you have to have them because that's one of the ways you gain
You
stains.
stain.
Because they're expected to actually happen.
Yeah. I think it's more like the Chronicle tenets. I think are more convictions that the group takes on as a whole.
Right.
Like these are things that we as a group are not going to do,
But it's
but we can.
all of the characters, not just the PCs.
Oh, I thought it was.
Yeah, it says Chronicle tenets apply to all... Oh, no, never mind. All player characters.
all player characters.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
And they impose moral sanction and degeneration on the characters when violated. They're kind of almost made to be violated.
Yes.
This is definitely like lines and veils or things where we're never cross, fade
Right.
to black.
Right.
This is like stuff that our characters
Are going to
care about that could
Okay.
very well be crossed in the course of the game.
They give a few samples. Did everyone taken convictions? Should I read off some
Yeah, please
Yeah,
do.
read off a couple
examples?
off.
Okay. Thou shalt not kill. Kill only the unworthy, unbelievers. These are all obviously separate possibilities. In fair combat and self-defense. Never expose children to violence. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Disobedience is dishonor. Protect the innocent from harm. Courage is the highest virtue. Always keep your sworn word. The truth is sacred. Thou shalt not lie. Slavery is evil. Obey authority. My country, right or wrong. None may control me. Never do drugs or drink alcohol. Thou shalt not torture. The guilty must be punished. From each according to their abilities, to each according to their needs. Hey, it's Marx. Rob from the rich and give to the poor. Reject wealth, for it corrupts. Never act against another. Insert your own group, faith/sect.
So how many of these do we pick?
1 to 3.
Up to 3, at least one, and then you need to you're going to have a touchstone that is connected with that. The touchstone is immortal. That you. And that these are just examples. Respect, insert religion here, as sacred and obey its moral laws. Stand up for the disenfranchised. Always aid women in need. Never act against another. Insert your own group of faith.
And the best way to do it is to, if you already have a touchstone in mind, trying to figure out.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on right now.
Yeah.
I have a touchstone in mind, trying to figure out the reverse engineer my conviction for that touchstone.
It's kind of the easier way to go. Feels like.
This game isn't set up to make a broken toy. I can't find.
Aren't we?
I can't find any.
Aren't we all broken toys?
Yeah.
It wants me to buy all these advantages, and I'm like, nope, that won't work. And once I've heard, nope, a haven, oh, that won't work. Nope. And then now with these convictions, I'm like, let's see here. Thou shalt not kill. That would work.
So you're just building Louis.
Louis? Who's Louis?
Louis from Louis C.K.
Oh.
No.
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 Ew.
No.
No.
Like, he's an idiot, but the show was good.
Louis, Interview with the Vampire.
Oh.
Which one was Louis?
Brad
Brad
Pitt.
Pitt.
Oh, okay. All right,
I don't
yeah.
want to kill.
Right.
I won't take blood from an innocent.
Except for
Look at my
this
hair.
child.
Yeah.
Listen, self-control is an issue.
Yeah.
He's definitely
Well,
a
that's-
Toreador, though, too.
Lestat is a Toreador
Yeah.
for sure. Which, I mean, since Lestat turned... We're getting into a whole
Yeah.
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, Lestat is the Toreador.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. This part's hard.
I know.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to go with the Hippocratic Oath. What is
Yeah,
that?
that's a good frame of reference for you.
I'm just going to use the Chronicle Tenets of the Hippocratic Oath, which I guess I can
There
look
you
up.
go.
I'll look
Well,
that up.
okay.
I'm very curious. Is there actually an oath?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I need to figure out the the names of the people.
You don't have to give them to me now, but I'll need them definitely a week or two before we start.
Great. So the 2 convictions I have so far: always keep your sworn word, and none may control me.
Oh, it's funny. I asked if nothing can control me.
Because it's fucking great.
Yeah.
I do also love that one.
And who else has them? Anyone have their convictions?
I'm still thinking.
Okay.
I have none to control me, but I'm trying to figure out the... Because I have a good touchstone. I was trying to reverse engineer the conviction to fit them.
Do you
What is
want?
it? Do you want help?
Yeah,
So
I'd love
brainstorm?
that. So the touchstone I'm thinking of. So when I was turned, it was at the height of tuberculosis.
Okay.
And so there was someone that I was seeing that I was in love with who was dying of tuberculosis after I had been turned, and there was this whole conundrum of, do I turn them to save them, and deciding not to, and deciding I don't want to bestow this curse on anybody else, even to preserve their life. So I'm trying to figure out a way to make that a conviction of...
But that's not your
there's-
touchstone, though.
That is, well, my
She's
touchstone
dead.
is going to be someone I know now,
Okay.
who's also
In the similar
in a
situation.
similar situation.
Well, there's a kill only the unworthy. That might work for that.
You
I
could-
was thinking about taking
Yeah.
that one.
You could, but those are only examples. You can come up with anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be something as strong as I will never pass this curse on to another person.
Yeah.
This curse dies with me.
There you
Yeah,
go.
there you go. I
Yeah.
like that. Yes, thank you.
So the Hippocratic Oath, the first paragraph talks about somebody I can use as a touchstone.
Do you know her?
No, actually, it says actually it's the second paragraph. I hold my teacher in his art equal to my own parents to make him partner in my livelihood. So
Oh.
my touchstone is going to be my old teacher, who's in a retirement home.
Okay. There you go. So what is that conviction again? Oh, Hippocratic Oath.
The Hippocratic Oath, which has a lot. I will use treatment to help the sick according to my ability and judgment. Never poison anyone.
You may want to narrow it down to a couple of things because you're going to be awfully busy. maybe it, if you want to make it that touchstone, make it just that section about honoring teachers or honoring.
The other one basically just says you basically cause no harm.
Okay.
So you can sum it up to that. It says help the sick, don't administer poison.
How are you making a touchstone out of the no one can control me?
So basically the backstory of my character is that she was taken while the British controlled India as a colony. She had some mystical powers, or they thought she did, and so when the occult started to ramp up over there, she got taken to England.
Mm-hmm.
And she spent several years there, as kind of a sideshow slave. Somebody rich had her, trotted her out, was using her for her abilities, and then, as part of this, going through, George Mock found her and turned her. And so she became a Dromare. That's...
Mm-hmm.
kind of the backstory there. So, she had been controlled in the past, and then, her sire kind of freed her from that, but also robbed her of all of her old abilities. And I was thinking the person... So that's where the core of that conviction comes from. And then the current touchstone for that is that there's a person who helped her immigrate to the United States.
Oh, okay.
And that she was, so she had been over there, but, obviously all her paperwork and all that crazy, but there's a human who helped her immigrate
Okay, I take that. Okay, that makes sense.
as part of, one of those humanitarian organizations.
Does anyone else have convictions?
If you want, I was just looking at these. There's the humanist conviction pretty much sums up the Hippocratic Oath. So I'm going to take.
That's actually one of the chronicle.
That's a chronicle tenet.
A sample chronicle tenet.
Yeah, it works. It fits everything.
So each one of those is a separate one, and there's
I see what you're saying.
tie a touchstone to
Yeah, I
each
see
one.
what you're saying.
And I'm actually keeping always keep your sworn word is other people from her village immigrated to this area, and that's why she's here, as opposed to somewhere else.
Right.
Oh boy.
I have not picked my scene yet.
Oh, okay. We don't have to do that.
I will figure it out.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with that.
I'm just really, really tempted to go with like romance book loads.
Oh, right. Now, is there like an online, like something like Google Docs for drawing?
What do you mean?
Because I'm wondering if we can make, once everyone has the names of their NPCs and their site and all that stuff, if we can make that relationship map collaboratively online. If there's like there's a drawing Google Doc thing, isn't there?
Maybe.
Google Sheets, maybe.
No, that's Excel.
Yeah.
Well,
There's a PowerPoint one too, but
No, but it would be like
Google
the
Paint, yeah.
yeah, exactly. It would be like the equivalent of Google Paint.
Well, there's Google Slides,
That's
That's
PowerPoint.
PowerPoint.
Google Drawing.
Oh,
What is
Look at
that, though?
Look at that.
Is
I'm
it
gonna
the
open it
thing?
right
Try.
Oh,
is that exactly what it is?
it's a thing. You bet.
I mean, it's a thing, but is it the thing
It's
that
got,
we want?
It's got lines. It makes lines and it has text, and you put anything anywhere you want.
Does it have curvy lines or straight lines, or just straight lines?
Well, it looks like it has lines, arrows, elbow connectors, curved connectors, curves, polylines, and scribbles.
Ooh, scribbles.
It has a
Scribble is
plethora
great.
of lines. So I'll create.
The things that are really important
Can
in
I
life.
make this document larger? Can I make it 11 by 17? So I have a lot of space. Page setup.
Yeah, please. Yeah, please have some of this wine. I don't want to drink this entire bottle myself.
Would widescreen?
Okay, I do, but I can't.
Can I have a little bit?
Yeah, please. I brought it for the table. I thought.
But you're gonna power through the whole thing yourself.
yeah. Like, why don't you just put a nipple on it?
I mean, don't threaten me with a good time.
I think that's clean.
Okay, just say when.
When? That's one of them. Thank you.
Okay.
Do we have to, when it comes with the Chronicle tenants, do we have to pick like the
No.
whole thing, like each of?
No,
these
those are
sections?
just samples.
Okay.
Those are examples. We can totally come up with our own.
No, but a touchstone has to be an individual. It can't just be
Yeah.
like
Touchstone is supposed.
a single individual. It can't be like a group, a small group of people.
A touchstone must be a living human being connected
Okay.
to humanity through the inhuman, through that the inhuman is at the very least going the long. What? Each vampire begins with as many touchstones as humans who represent what you used to value in life. Someone who represents or seems to incarnate one of your convictions. If lost, the conviction is lost as well.
Okay.
So I have my convictions and my touchstones if you want them.
I think you already.
Well, I'll give you one. I have a second.
The curse. This curse dies with
This
me.
curse dies
and
with
no
me.
one can control me.
Yeah, I don't know if you wanted the touchstones already or if you-
Sure.
Okay,
If you know them.
I think I do. Yeah. So the touchstone for none may control me is my booking agent.
Okay.
Her name is Georgia Coward, and she understands I'm very picky in the gigs I take, and is giving me more or less free reign on my career as a musician.
Okay. And do you have one for the curse? This curse?
I do. His name is Andrew Schmidt. And I haven't decided what disease he has yet, but he is suffering from some kind of terminal disease. And it seems to be a pattern in my life. I keep falling for these people who are going to leave me.
Oh no.
Those bastards.
Okay. What the
So
hell?
he is a regular, casual lover. I
Okay.
mean, not quite committed, but close to it.
Nice.
And ready?
My conviction is called One of Us, One of Us. And it's outcasts and freaks are my kin.
Okay.
I have a special attachment, and I'm very protective about people that live on the outliers of society.
Okay.
And the touchstone for that conviction is a gentleman by name Schiltzie. That's Schilzie.
What the hell just happened? Hold on a second.
Oh no!
Yeah. Somehow I've made text invisible.
Oops.
Well, it doesn't really do you much good
Stop
that way.
obfuscating your text.
Try highlighting the area. You probably made it.
Oh, no, there it is.
Oh,
There
just
it is.
disbelieve. Make your
It's not-
saving throw. There you
Here
go.
we go.
Use
now
aspects
it's-
to see through it.
Now it's not deleting the text. Okay. What was his name again?
Schilzie.
I'm typing and it's moving the cursor through the text when I was like,
Beautiful.
but it's not actually making any new text. The keyboard, it's as if I moved the cursor. Oh, there it goes. Why is this
Slag.
taking so long? Oh, I bet it's because I opened that thing. Hold on one second.
Dude, we're playing a game. It's not time for porn.
No, I'm making our
Always
relationship
time
map.
for porn.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean,
We're playing vampire. I mean, I feel.
All right.
we have made time for porn.
Yeah.
Okay.
I said correct.
Let me finish this real quick and then I'll get right back to that because
No worries, man.
it's because this thing's open. That's
No, in
that's
the meantime, I had a chance to look up what presence actually was as a, or potence actually was as a disciple. Realized
Oh, discipline?
I'm taking, or yes, as a discipline, and I'm taking dominate.
Nice.
Yeah, potence is just I hit hard.
Yeah.
Really, really
yeah,
hard.
it is.
I like it.
Well, like when you hadn't actually read that bit because it wasn't part of any of the clans you were planning on taking.
That's completely
Yeah.
fine.
I looked at it and I was like, oh, wait a minute. No, this wasn't what I thought it might be. So you took the abandoned church as one of your advantages? That's awesome.
Nice.
Is it
Yeah.
haunted?
Yes, it's haunted.
How
Clearly.
haunted is
Derp.
It's got 1 point in haunting,
Okay.
so it's
it? So mildly haunted.
pretty haunted.
It's fine. But we need a break from the haunting. I have a luxury haven, so
Ooh.
I'm real fancy.
There's a secret way in or out of my abandoned church as well.
Is it through the basement?
I'm not telling you.
Is it through a grave where the tombstone changes to say
Say your
your
name.
own name as you go through it?
Yes.
Yes.
Next to a statue that cries blood just for you.
Yes.
Oh, it's like
$800 laptop standing on the giant shoulders of thousands of generations of engineers, and here I am with a pencil. What is the name of your?
Oh no.
I actually prefer to call it Portable Communications Inscriber.
Yes.
His name is Schilzie, and that's spelled Schilzie. And he's a pinhead.
What's a pinhead?
A pinhead is a type of circus freak. They have a particular type
Okay.
of deformity. And he's retired
Pepper
and old.
from American
Yes,
Horror
Yeah,
Story.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And he's what?
He's
retired?
He's retired, and basically, I sort of have been financially taking care of him after
Okay.
his retirement because he is related to one of the freaks that was in my original sideshow that when I was embraced.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. Schilzie.
That's actually a famous name of a famous freak show artist, an actual pinhead from the I think 40s.
Let me try closing this and reopening it.
Hey man.
Is this
Try
like-
turning
when
it
in
off
doubt.
and on.
yes. When in doubt.
It just drives me nuts how often that actually works.
I know.
Oh yeah, it's buffer memory. It clears it, and that's a lot of the problems that you have.
Oh yeah, all of the text that I had been typing there furiously just magically appeared.
Look at that.
All right.
I do have to say, like, it's still really expensive to become incredibly beautiful in Vampire. And I'm still
is.
always willing to pay.
That's why I like that Siren gave me 2 points in that already. So I only spent 2 points to become stunning. I'm like, all right,
I spent the whole floor because it's worth it.
yeah, it is
You have a conviction?
because we're worth it.
I have 2.
Okay.
And they each have a touchstone, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So always aid women in need. Because my backstory is that she was the daughter of a prominent Victorian Catholic bishop, and began having religious visions a la Joan of Arc.
Oh, excellent.
I love it.
So after a couple of failed exorcisms, they just put her in the sanatorium.
Right.
Well, that's
Like you
what they
do.
do, yeah.
And her sire was posing as a nurse there and recognized her potential
Oh, okay.
and embraced her.
And who's that touchstone?
Touchstone is the psychiatrist that's now in charge of like what stands in the facility that's like on the grounds. of the place that she was embraced
Okay.
in. I need to give you a name.
You don't have to do it now.
Okay.
I shared that Google Drawing doc with all of you.
Yes. Okay,
Nice.
perfect.
So there's an email invite for it, so everyone
Cool.
can put their thing in there. What's your other conviction?
Never act against another person of her sect, which, being a very religious Catholic who is now a monster, she's convinced that God has chosen her to help bring about Judgment Day, and she must serve Satan. So
Excellent.
she is a satanic vampire nun
Excellent. Okay.
Oh Lord.
Only she has firearms
who
because she's a nun
hallucinates
with guns and
wildly.
So and your touchstone for this, which I'm
Is the leader of the Satanic Temple of
Okay.
Los Angeles.
I adore you so much. It's
Oh
so
my
good.
God. I may have just. I'm sorry. I think I may have figured out what my scene is.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and I think it's like it's the new yoga.
Oh no.
It's all the like new Bikram yoga practitioners.
It's like the soul cycle of yoga.
Yes.
Yes. That's beautiful.
Oh.
And I need to figure out a way to phrase that better so it's like a little bit more like it might just be like new age religious, but I need it specific to people who are embracing like, you know, like the full on namaste. I practice yoga. It might just be that like I only pray on yoga instructors.
You'll
I'm
be
gonna
fine.
bite you right in the
There's
chakra.
so many.
Exactly.
You could also just go for white women in yoga pants.
That's everyone though.
Yeah, that's athleisure is just taking.
Too broad. Sorry.
Influencers.
What's
Influencers.
Influencers!
There you go.
but yeah.
Free us of the
So
scourge of influencers.
Or start influencing the influencers.
that could be my fame advantage.
Who watches The Watchmen?
So yes, I'm going to make this happen.
That's
One way
terrible.
or
I love
another.
it.
Beautiful.
Your appropriation works for me. It tastes
That's
tasty.
so good.
So I've got everyone's touchstones and convictions now.
No,
Yeah?
I've got
Except
no,
for
no.
Stork.
Yeah, except for me. So I have a teacher in a retirement home,
Well, you can just give me the names later.
All right.
We can do that when on.
and then I
on-
have a nephew.
Oh, okay.
Thou shalt not kill. So one of them is protect your teacher. The other one is thou shalt not kill. Who's a nephew in a middle class family.
Hold on a second. Those thou shalt not kill is your second one, okay? And who?
He's my nephew.
Okay.
So because I was embraced in the '80s, so he's probably in his 30s. He's married with kids.
Got it. Okay. 130 something. Let's see. Everyone's humanity is set to 6 because you're Ancillae.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Actually, and I get a +1, so it's 7 because of taking
Oh,
my
for-
predator type.
Got it. Okay.
Bumped me up. But I'm still trying to figure out my advantages.
Okay, so we've already figured out that you're playing Ancillae.
Yes.
Yes.
You start out at 10th or 11th generation. I'll leave that entirely up to you at Blood Potency 2.
Okay.
Each player adds 2 points of advantages, 2 points of flaws. Each player, we already subtracted the point of humanity. And then
Okay.
each player, now if we want, we can do this away from the table. I mean,
Okay.
because it.
So you take
35
2 more
experience
flaws and
Two more
2 more
flaws.
advantages. Okay.
So 2 advantages, 2 flaws, and then 35 experience points to add to your character.
Woo.
35
XP. Okay. So you can spend.
Can we do that away from the table and
Sure.
do chronicle tenants and stuff?
Yeah.
Like, that would have to be with us all together.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does make a lot of
Mostly
sense.
because I'm going to take the next 7 hours
To figure out my other two
figuring
flaws.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
It took me half an hour to figure out my first 2 flaws.
Right?
Honestly,
And I'm having the opposite problem. I have more flaws than I want for advantages. It doesn't work with a homeless guy. I'm like, I wouldn't have a herd. I wouldn't have any influence. Wouldn't have any
You might
fame.
have a herd.
You could have a whole bunch. Yeah, because they don't have
You
to
have an
be.
entire, like...
Fellow drifters.
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
You could have everybody at a dive bar that's just basically your herd.
It's true.
You walk in and they go, Floyd!
He's the biggest bar tab ever because he has no money.
Right.
And you get your herd to pay it
for a tequila shot today.
So he's Norm. Yeah, totally Norm. I don't think Norm ever paid.
So we need to do Chronicle Tenants and also work on the domain.
Okay.
So, what are your Chronicle Tenants?
You're a monster.
I was gonna say
I can't impose them. You guys have to come up with
since both of us took None May Control Me, that one that might be a good fit for us is
That also
Be Your
fits
Own,
with-
Never Submit.
That also fits with the tenets of Satanism. So
Yes.
Okay.
I'm on.
It works with one of my advantages too, which is unbondable.
Okay. I like that. So what was it? Never submit?
Be Your Own, Never Submit.
Your own. Never submit. Except
How many of those do we need?
except to the prince. 3.
Okay, well, that's one down.
Only when he's looking.
Right?
We shall never submit. We shall defend our island. We shall defend our haven, wherever the cost may be.
Shall never surrender.
Shall never submit.
Never give up. Never surrender.
Freedom.
What page is that on?
172 to 173.
Okay.
It's in the,
It's not in the thing.
in the printed thing.
Okay.
There's a few examples here. The humanist tenets: thou shalt not kill, save in self-defense. Thou shalt not rape or torture. Thou shalt not harm the innocent. Creed of justice: never kill the innocent. Be your own. Never submit. Without a cause, you are nothing. Gothic romantic: never deny true love. The guilty should suffer. Uphold the norms of decent society. Street code: never snitch. Respect others and demand respect. Don't kill outsiders.
I like the guilty shit.
I would
Yeah, I love
say the
guilty
guilty
should
should definitely suffer.
You should suffer.
And there's another one here in parentheses under the examples of act like a person, not a beast.
Ooh, I kind of like that too.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Depends on your definition of a person. There's wiggle room.
exactly.
Mental gymnastics.
Okay, so your Chronicle tenets are: be your own, never submit, the guilty should suffer, and act like a person, not a beast.
Yep. I take that.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a little sparkle with my character.
Yes.
Okay.
Same.
Now the domain.
Sparkling vampire, really?
Hi.
Beautiful.
All right, your where is the domains? I had that section here. Okay. So your domain, where do you guys? What section of Los Angeles / Orange County did Miroslav bequeath to you as a fiefdom?
I
It needs somewhere that has a Victorian Catholic cathedral in it. Sorry.
So
Alright.
Silver Lake?
Because I'm real extra.
Silver Lake's one of the contested areas, he was saying. It's sort of a
Never
borderland.
mind.
yeah.
There's a lot of Victorian structures actually along the 110 towards Pasadena between LA and here. I don't know
Yeah,
if
like
there's
Highland
church-
Park.
yeah,
There's that
Highland
whole
Park,
collection
yeah.
of Victorian homes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I like Highland Park in general. This is an
Highland
area
Park?
I actually kind of know. Unlike any of the OC outside of Disneyland.
And yeah, there's some really old buildings in there. There's like an old firehouse we shot at once. I think there are some old churches for sure.
Unless he bequeathed this Disneyland.
I mean, I'm totally fine with that. I did like the idea of us using
Well,
the
you gotta-
Americana as
You
hunting
got.
ground.
Here's the thing.
Dude,
Whatever
but,
you guys
like,
come up
Glendale
with,
doesn't have
you
the
gotta
architecture.
pay for it
Actually,
with dots with
Wait,
coterie
actually-
Glendale
dots.
does.
Glendale works because if you go just a little bit outside the Americana, if you go back down like Pacific, I think there
There's
should
a
be
couple
old
of
enough
really
houses
big
back there.
stone churches there too.
There
Or
are.
if we fudge it just a little
Yeah.
and we say we have an area, a fictional area that includes the Americana and the hills, or at least part
yeah.
of the hills.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
hills has everything we need back there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Including the zoo.
Oh, you're talking about Griffith Park?
We're talking
Like
about
Griffith
Glendale.
Park, Glendale area.
Oh, okay.
Los Feliz, Griffith
Like
Park,
Griffith,
Glendale.
basically kind of like the LA Zoo to the Americana, like that.
Okay,
whole-
so this is a large area.
Well, we're trying to say like
well, that's a large area.
we're trying to.
area, but then we still got to pay for.
Okay, well,
But the thing is, the area may be large, but a lot of it is taken up by a huge park.
entryway.
a freeway.
Right. So you guys, you get 1 dot to create your domain per player character, right? So you've got
I see.
5 dots.
5
I
dots
thought we
total.
had
I thought it was 5 dots each.
5 dots. Oh, yes.
5 dots
But
total.
It's a
additional.
one
one
per
each.
character. Yeah.
Got it. Got it.
So a 5 dot domain is 3 neighborhoods, a large group of features, all parks on the southern side. So that's almost the size you guys are talking about. A 4 dot is 1 neighborhood or a defined district, a square kilometer.
So yeah, a 5 dot.
Well, yeah, if we have 5 dots
But
to
there
make
are-
our
Right, but there are
domain,
other things you can
There are
buy.
other things you
They
can-
make it smaller and build it up.
Because one of the things that you might want to do is spend some dots on how secure your domain is.
That's true.
I don't know what you're
Or
saying.
we build
Also,
it up later.
or you can spend points on how well you're connected with the area. I think that's called lean,
Yeah.
and that is describes how integrated the coterie is into the domain. Each dot of lean adds 1 die to the coterie member's pool on attempts to interact peacefully with the native mortals, find something, someone, or somewhere specific within the domain, find out the word on the street, or otherwise investigate something within the domain. Portillon, or Portillon,
Right, is
I
the
don't know how it's
defense.
pronounced. That's that's how defensible the place is, and how secure it is.
Right.
And that actually, you don't actually ever add those dots to any of your rolls, but those dots are subtracted from anyone trying to come in to try to evade detection.
Portillon.
Is that what it is?
It's a large gate.
Portillon. Okay.
Like
right.
portcullis, right?
And then you can also buy backgrounds. You can buy adversaries, allies, contacts, enemies, your havens, herds.
Oh boy.
Influence, mask. I don't know what Mala is. I haven't looked.
Oh, those are advisors, like people we can go to for advice.
Okay. Resources, retainers, and status. So
I think those are all going back to our original advantages and flaws.
Yeah.
well, no,
That-
you can
those
actually
part
specifically
you
buy
can-
those things
For
for
the
your
district.
domain.
Oh, for your
yeah,
domain.
for
Okay.
your domain.
And then we could all use. They're
They're communal resources.
as long as you're in good standing.
Okay. So what if do we need the zoo?
Not wrong. Not being on animals.
Here's what I was gonna say, because you need to eat some yoga instructors.
But I have animalism too, though.
I mean, that's all of LA, so I'm fine.
You have
That's
animalism
true.
too?
I mean, if we get even down as far as like where that out of the closet is, what is that called?
What about like Atwater Village?
Yes, Atwater
Oh,
Village.
Atwater Village.
Because that's trendy enough to have a Church of Satan.
True enough. And the thing is, like,
get
we
a
could
t-shirt.
take.
I love LA.
Just saying. And it's got some like historic buildings and whatnot. I can fit my abandoned church in there.
Yeah.
So that might be like a.
It's got the Forest Lawn Cemetery.
Is that in Atwater now?
It's
Is
like
that,
right
like,
next
what that-
to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a decent nightlife though? I'm gonna need a nightlife.
Atwater has a nightlife
Yes.
because
Okay.
when I was in Glendale, those are the only bars I went to.
It's also
For
right
an
next to
Atwater.
Los Feliz.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Los Feliz has a bunch of stuff.
So
I mean, the
Atwater,
creek.
would we call that maybe like an 8-block area? Because that's a 3-dot domain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that works.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So long as that out of the closet is included. It's really the best one. The Atwater Village out of the closet is in all of LA, the best one.
I really like the one across from Cantor's in downtown LA.
Yes, but then you have to go downtown.
No one wants to go downtown.
No, that's like going
Get a
to the
pastrami
west
sandwich
side.
and buy some pants. It's
That's
awesome.
a whole day adventure that I don't need.
It's like trying to. The whole day adventure is like trying to find parking on the west side.
Yeah.
Yes. The West Side sucks.
Or
does.
you just park really easily
And
next to the out of the closet in Atwater. They have a great selection, and then you go to one of the like dozen good eateries right there or in Glendale.
There you go.
Not necessarily in the Americana.
No.
They don't have any good food there.
They've got some
Perfect.
decent food
Okay.
at the Americana.
Okay, so we've got you got 3 points spent on on the size of your domain.
Okay.
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 Now you have 2 more points to spend. I think there is a way you can convert your own experience points into
I
domain points
believe
if
that
that's
is
what
correct.
you want to do.
Which I don't think I do, but if y'all want to,
I'm sure
I
everyone's
have-
going to volunteer those.
I have 2 extra experience points left over. I'm willing to throw in the pool.
Oh, plus
Have you
don't forget
already
the
allotted
Ancillae
your-
points too. You get
Yeah.
like 35.
you've already
of
spent
those.
them.
No, yeah.
Work.
I'm really good at that.
Jim
Word.
is like,
The Ancillae 35 experience
got
points,
this.
I spent those.
Okay. So do you guys want to spend the rest of it on Portion or Lean or buy? And this is more of like a coterie thing. Buy yourselves a coterie adversary, ally flaw, all that kind of stuff.
I like the defense one
Okay.
Defense is good.
Let me read it for you real quick.
because it'd be nice to hold on to our turf.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This trait describes how secure the domain is against intrusion and disruptions, other vampires, mortal police, or predators, the Second Inquisition, etc. Each dot of Portion subtracts 1 die from the foe's pools when they attempt to, for example, enter, investigate, or surveil the domain without the coterie's knowledge. Portion seldom adds to a character's pool. It primarily acts as a resistance trait. A critical success by an intruder might lower the Portion for the domain against that specific intruder, unless the coterie deals with them before their next intrusion. Portion does not apply to havens in or out of the domain. So, you guys want to spend your remaining 2 points on that?
I did want to spend at least 1 point in that.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we do 1 point in that and 1 point in lean,
Yeah, I agree.
What was lean again?
each dot in lean adds 1 die to a coterie member's pool on attempts to, for example, interact peacefully with a native mortal, find something, someone, or somewhere specific within
It's
the
how
domain.
ingrained you are into that area.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You
I
can
think-
find out the word on the street.
Yeah, let's do
Otherwise,
that.
like
That seems
anytime
smart.
we're looking for something inside the domain, it adds a die to our dice pool, which I feel like is a really big
Totes.
Okay.
advantage.
All right.
I agree.
So that's your 5. Anyone willing to volunteer XP to?
I've got 2 points I can throw into there.
I got 2 points I can throw in.
I don't know what the conversion rate
I don't know
is.
if it's
I'm still
XP. These are
figuring this
two.
shit
These are
out.
2 advantage points. Mm-hmm. It's 2 advantage points, right?
Oh, no advantage points. It's XP from the last thing that
yeah.
you
I
probably
Yeah.
haven't yet.
I still haven't worked on it. Okay.
There's like a
We can figure that out later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
All right.
After everybody spends their points, they can go, this is what I have left over. We
Yes.
can put that in the pool and see if
Right.
we can spend it.
Right.
All I know is I bought 1 in Dominate because I want that super cool Dominate.
I need to look at like what the cross.
I don't even know what they do. I just want 3 in Obfuscate because it's awesome.
Right? Well, I got 3 in Presence just from my background or my predatory type.
Nice.
Okay. Well, I mean that's pretty much all. Everything else we can do away from the table, and then we can. Like I said, I shared the Google drawing doc with you all. So and then people can just add in their stuff, put your name in, and put your people, and leave space for connections with the other player characters.
So
And
far,
then-
this is freaking sexy AF, man.
Right? I'm
Really
digging
good.
this.
Yeah,
This is going to be a
digging
fun
this a
game.
lot.
We're going to have so much fun.
And I'm going to have to go to. I don't think I've ever actually been to Atwater Village. I'm going to have to go there and kind of get a feel for the place.
It's nice. The Red Lion Tavern is there. Mm-hmm. So if you want to go get some like raw beef, or just German sausages and stuff.
German
Oh, okay.
sausages, yeah.
It's
Where,
it's like 134 and the
2.
and the 2
Yeah.
is
Basically,
Atwater
like
Village.
the next neighborhood
Isn't that
over from where I
Glendale?
moved.
So,
it's like
yeah.
the next neighborhood over from like where me and Adam
San
moved.
Fernando Road is probably the division point between Glendale and Atwater Village.
Yeah.
is
Like
it
if you
actually,
keep going up Atwater, Atwater butts up against the car dealership side of Glendale. Like if you go down Brand and you keep going down, and then you going down Glendale that way,
Okay.
you hit Atwater.
Is Golden
Okay.
Road in Atwater Village?
Maybe I think
The
it's
brewery?
technically. I think it's Glen. It might be technically. I don't know. It's tough to say.
We are spending a lot of time talking about LA.
Right.
We're gonna though.
Yeah,
We're
I mean,
gonna.
this thing.
Next
In
we
this
start
game,
arguing
when he
about
starts- When he
freeways.
starts having us, yeah.
Ooh,
When he
I
starts
have a
having-
question.
Yes.
So for
LA.
spending our 35 XP, what are our costs? On
they're right
different
here.
Things?
They're on.
they're all right
on
there.
here. Yeah, they're on the. little
They're on
thing.
137.
There's a cheat sheet.
Yeah.
I love it.
Right.
Yeah, they make it really easy.
God
Like I
bless
said,
cheat sheet.
Though that is one question, how on that cheat sheet. That's why I looked it up. Actually, it doesn't say how much it would help you, how much XP it costs to buy stuff for your domain.
It does.
It does.
For your domain. No, it does not.
Does it have coterie?
It does not.
It doesn't? I'll have to read around.
It just has personal stuff. It has your attributes, your skills, specialties, disciplines of all different sorts, blood sorcery, thin blood formula, advantage, and blood potency.
I'll see if I can find the section. I just saw a section where it said that you can spend points on the domain or the coterie.
That's what I thought.
It says that, but I'll have to read further to see if it actually says
law
that.
points or XP points. Yeah.
This says, okay, so it begins as a 1 free dot per player character.
That's for coterie, though, not domain.
Well, and you can
Those are one of the
contribute your
same.
own, you can contribute your own character's advantage dots to the coterie pool.
So, for
But
example,
it's
her havens.
it's 3 experience points per dot
Got it.
for advantage is the conversion rate.
Okay.
So between,
okay.
So we have 1 point between Stork and me so far with our 4.
1
2.
plus.
I got
I got
2.
two,
I
and you
got
got
2 advantage points I
But
haven't
it-
used yet.
Oh, advantage points.
Oh,
then. You
that's
got 2
true.
full points.
And you have 1 plus, or no, you have 2/3 of a point.
Yeah.
This is glittering night. I'm logging the game.
Oh.
We can also
I mean,
purchase
so I don't
flaws.
yell at myself.
Like we can also purchase flaws to get more dots for our.
Oh, does that
Coterie.
work that way? I didn't see that.
We can purchase like the
You got
Coterie
coterie
flaws.
Coterie
flaws.
clause. All right. Cool. That makes sense.
And then we all have to agree on that. So if we want to get any flaws for the coterie, we should probably talk about that now.
What are our options for flaws?
It listed them.
We should also talk about what kind we have, I guess.
Yeah, because there are a couple different coterie types.
Well, that's kind of defined. No, I guess it
Coterie
is.
backgrounds,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, but there's also
there's
types
types.
of coteries
Types, yeah. Oh, okay.
that give you like more lean and more portillon and stuff like that.
okay.
Blood cult is weird. That's almost like a sabbat.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like you guys are all drinking each other's blood so you don't betray each other.
Yeah, no.
How,
Yeah, I'm not
how much
cool with
fun
that.
is that?
We're not doing
No.
Cerebus,
Not betray each other.
Oh, Cerberus, and it's defense, defending the...
Protect or guard a certain spot.
champions,
Fight for a cause.
commando.
We kind of have that going on with our coterie, don't we? We have the protect the innocent, and don't we? Or
Well,
I think we all have different reasons.
yeah.
Also, like we have,
We're all kind of like, fuck
people
the
we wanna
patriarchy,
protect.
but for like different
Yes.
reasons.
Yeah.
Be
the
your
guilty
own-
must suffer.
which might work for champions. Exist to fight for a cause, or commando. Exist to fight its master's enemies.
Oh, there's a whole bunch on the next page.
No
too.
underwear.
If we just say like,
I'm like all for that one.
Right?
Free balling.
oh, that's weird. Oh, cool. There's a special coterie for like thin bloods.
Oh,
Like
nice.
if you make a party full of thin
Right,
bloods, you could be the day watch.
Mm.
Just don't pay some witch to try to abort your baby, your girlfriend's baby. That did not go well for that guy.
That's true.
Hunting party, Marichal, whose coterie serves and guards the prince of No. Nomads, no. Plumer, birds of a feather flock together as social coterie like plumeries. Feathered ones exemplify this adage. United by ties of social prominence or simple common enthusiasm. Questari, the coterie exists to accomplish a great enterprise or objective. Regency, an elder of the Camarilla chose or created the coterie to guard their legacy as they were beckoned into the Middle East. They hold the elder's vote among the primogen.
Ooh.
No,
I mean,
thanks.
my 2 in politics Camarilla looks real good right now.
I know, right? Though I like the Spiri, which is this coterie disguises itself as one type while secretly serving another prince or baron than they feign allegiance to. Playing both sides.
Ooh, dangerous.
Named for and possibly them.
It's a German thing.
Is it
Yes.
the Vigilance?
The
Secret
Vigilante
Society.
Secret Society in medieval Germany.
Oh, okay. Watchmen. The coterie patrols the city and protects it from intruders, especially anarchs and werewolves. Camarilla coteries establishing border cities. You guys are close to a border.
That might
That
make
might be
sense.
cool.
Yeah.
That might be.
And traditionally in World of Darkness, Griffith Park is usually held by werewolves.
Right.
Fancy. So,
So maybe the Watchman one?
If we are a Spiri disguising ourselves as Watchmen,
What's Aspiri?
it disguises
double
itself
agents.
as one type, but secretly serves another prince or baron.
I mean, you don't have to call me a
Spirit.
prince right now. You can call me a prince once I'm crowned.
You know how much diablerie is between
I'm-
you and Princeton?
Oh, I'm aware. Yep. I have a Kill Bill list.
I think the Watchman makes sense.
Yeah, I think Watchmen.
And that gives us a couple extra things. And
Oh,
some
yeah.
status with Camarilla.
Actually, although I do approve of Pooja's devilry in that other end of
Right.
but I think that might make your life really hard. Oh my god.
No, it makes his life pretty easy. It makes our life miserable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think
I'm
so.
fine
Fun,
with that
but
too.
miserable.
Yeah. Why didn't I make this guy more fighty?
I'm so evil.
No, I'm looking at my, I have a 1 dot in both melee and
You got
firearms.
35
Chase-
points to spend?
True.
Chasse or chasse, that's the size, right? Of the thing.
Oh, okay.
Like a
Is that correct?
chassis? Like on a car?
C-H-A-S-S-E.
Chasse?
Chasse.
Chaussee.
Chasse.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
is
there's
the
no
size.
accent on it to be
Okay.
chasse.
Okay, so we get a slightly bigger domain.
Good call.
Yeah, now it's now 4 dots.
Aha!
Ooh.
So now
And
we
then-
can include the Americana.
So
Yes.
if, or you could put it back at 3 and spend one of the other points
Oh,
somewhere
that's
else
true.
too. And then Portillion gets an extra dot, so it's got 2 dots in Portillion. Portillion, right?
Actually, we could take that drop point and make it 3 and 3. Have Portillon at 3.
That's the defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we had 1 and 1
Have you guys
so
already
far.
included
Yeah.
the 2 advantage points I gave you?
No, but
Not yet.
we
Not
haven't.
yet.
Are you giving us those 2
Yeah.
advantage points?
And then
I got no-
and
I
you
got
get,
nothing here
2
I
in
can buy.
lean.
Sick.
Let's make
We're going to
that,
get 2 more extra points.
Let's
They're
make that
Stu.
4. Let's spend that extra point in size
Mhm.
from Stork.
Yeah.
So that puts us at a 4 in
you have
size.
So you were already at a 4.
Well,
No,
no,
we were
talking about we're going to drop the...
Oh, and then bump
But
up Portillon.
We don't even need to do that because if he's just going to add an extra point, we were going to
Yeah.
add it to that
Right.
anyway. Just leave it the same. And then
True.
Okay,
Okay.
so Chasse is 4. Lean is now 2? Question mark?
Which one? No, lean is 3.
3?
Because
Okay.
it goes up by 2.
By
Oh,
2?
yeah,
Sick.
okay. And
Okay.
then Portillon also 3.
Yes,
Sweet.
and then
Lovely.
status 3.
Lovely.
So I just did a
that's
couple,
Yeah.
bitching.
2 more
Domain's
claws.
looking good.
Okay, so
Mhm.
so that's what our just from having our
Just from adding the Watchman thing.
adding Watchmen, we have a 4 dot
Yeah.
chassis.
Yeah.
And then a 3 dot lean and a 3 dot portillon and 3 dot status.
Yeah.
So that's and then we add the 2,
No, that's
No, that was with
that's
his
the
2.
2.
and that's with Stork's 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Sorry,
perfect.
maths.
That's pretty cool. 4, 3, 3.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
And then
That's real big.
that's Watchman. Of course, that with great dots comes great responsibility.
Yeah. Well, another concept of Nosferatu I had was sort of like a Rorschach character, like a homeless vigilante sort of idea.
I mean, I'm not opposed to playing Osmandius.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. We just sort of went there.
Well, I was kind of wondering if we could like maybe take one of the points out of one of these things and get us like a couple of points out, because we could get people,
Oh, more contacts
or
retainers.
retainers.
Or the
Or herd.
Wally.
Or some advisors,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or a Mwala.
That's it, yeah.
That could be useful.
Oh, but I feel like our characters are so independent.
Mwala.
I feel like Amala
yeah.
would
Been putting the W
get in our
on this.
way.
That's
Yeah, because
possible.
one of our tenants is like, don't tell me what to do.
Right.
Right.
You don't know me.
The okay boomer.
Yeah.
Okay loomer.
Yeah. That's fun. I like
Well, that's a. But there's also just like retainers
Yeah, I mean, guys
Right.
who can
Just
boss
have people
around.
to-
That's totally within character
Yeah.
for us.
Right.
for all of us except Stork.
Well, maybe we boss Stork around.
He's
Poor
your
Stork.
retainer. I won't make you spend a dot on it.
Oh,
We're going to knock down your blood potency and we're going to make your retainers, Stork, okay? So,
All right. So we're good for now?
yeah, I
And
think
we
it's
can-
great
We
so
can
far.
talk
Continue
on
discussing
Slack
on
if
the
we want to
Slack.
move any of that around. But
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
good starting off point, I think.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
Yay!
All right. Thank you for joining us for session 00.
Yay!
Hey, the Glittering Night. And we will see you in January 4th, I think.
No, it's
No,
January
Sunday.
7th.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
I am looking.
It's the
What's
first
January
Sunday in
I thought
January.
it was the 5th. It's the 5th.
5th?
It's either the 5th or the 12th.
I think
It's
it's,
the 5th.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely
So
the 5th.
January 5th, right here at 4 p.m. Pacific, 4:08 Pacific time. Thank you very much.
Yay.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Where's it? I'll play that one.
If I told you the things I've seen on my ways, if I told you the things I've done in my days, you wouldn't believe me anyway. So it's best I just don't say. I've lived 1,000 lives, I piloted 1,000 souls, I killed and fought and died just for a single role.
The preceding program has been a presentation of the Angry Folk Media Empire.
Bum, bum, bum.